Teams have just emerged into the West London sunshine from the tunnel below us. 1,700 Leeds fans have made the trip, hoping to cheer their side on to a rare victory in the capital that would open up a 5-point lead at the top of the table, at least until Sheffield United take on Wednesday in the Steel City derby tomorrow. Let's remind you of the big team news. The visitors unchanged from their victory in midweek. That means Joe Rothwell has recovered from a minor knock. 3 alterations for Queen's Park Rangers. Most tellingly, their star man, their talisman, Elias Chair, is unavailable due to a hamstring issue, so he sits this one out. Fox, Edwards and Anderson are the players who come into the side. It means they go with a back 3 this afternoon. Nardi is the goalkeeper. Fox, Edwards and Cook in front of him. Dunn and Powell the wing-backs, with Anderson and Colback in midfield. Sato and Smith either side of Mitchie Fry in attack. As for Leeds, unchanged as I say. Melier the goalkeeper. Bogle, Roden, Stroik and Firpo the back 4. Tanaka and Rothwell in front of them. James, Aronson and Solomon behind. Joel Pirot up front. Loftus Road resplendent, packed to the rafters. I've mentioned, Scott, we've all mentioned Leeds' record in the capital. QPR not in spectacular form, but they are a tough nut to crack here at Loftus Road. The early kick-off, the fans are bouncing. That makes it a difficult task for Leeds.
Oh, absolutely. Look, they may have lost 7 of their last 9 championship games, but they've won 7 of the last 9 here at Loftus Road. So it is a very, very difficult place to come. And I mentioned it earlier, and I love the old school stadiums. I really do. Even coming here, jumping on the train and tube, and then having the 10-minute walk from the tube here, it's a proper old school feel, and I really do like it. And it's something that Leeds United quite simply have to be able to deal with. The crowd are on you. If they start well, you can feel under pressure, and no doubt, despite Ilias Chair not being in the 11 today, that they will try and go for it early on. So if Leeds United can withstand the early pressure, then look, on paper they should go and win this game, but it's not one on paper.
And it's all about scoreboard pressure, isn't it, at this stage of the season. Tuesday night, both Sheffield United and Burnley ended up drawing their games. I think it was Sheffield United, wasn't it, who conceded very late. Leeds all of a sudden go into their match on Wednesday with the pressure off slightly. They get the job done. They're 2 points clear at the top of the table. Have results gone the other way, they could be coming into this game even as low as 3rd place and in dire need of victory. So in some ways they can relax a little bit more because their rivals have slipped up in midweek.
I don't know about relax, but I know what you mean. This is Leeds United we're talking about. There's no such thing as relaxing, but I do think it was a massive midweek. After what happened last week against Portsmouth, yes, they could have been under real pressure. Both sides dropping points, as you rightly say, Sheffield United late on. And then Leeds go on and winning against Millwall, I think was absolutely crucial. But it's so important now, before the international break, they get those back-to-back victories.
And no doubt Scott Parker and his Burnley players, Chris Wilder and his Sheffield United stars, will be keeping an eagle eye on events here at Loftus Road. Maybe they're listening to Talksport. Good afternoon. If you are, it is Leeds United, all in yellow, shooting from right to left in this first half, who get us underway. Queen's Park Rangers in their traditional blue and white striped jerseys, white shorts and white socks. They are attacking the goal away to our right. A reminder, the Women's League Cup final underway over on Talksport 2. We've got Brighton against Manchester City from the Premier League on Talksport 2 later as well. Tomorrow we'll be at Wembley as the first silverware in the men's game is handed out this season. Liverpool against Newcastle, bound to be a rip-roaring occasion. 4:30 kickoff live on Talksport. Leeds fans in good voice as their team have the ball on the halfway line with Tanaka in these early exchanges, and straight away they're looking to use the pace of Dan James down that right hand side. The diminutive Welsh international slowly brings the ball into the penalty area, and it's a deep cross to the far post, but over the head of Pirot, and it will be kept in on this near side. Leeds United determined, it seems, to start the game on the front foot. Here is Rothwell on loan from Bournemouth, plays the ball infield to Pascal Stroik, well forward, and it's recycled again back out to the right hand side. Bogle with a delivery, and that's a really important header away, facing his own goal mouth. It was Steve Cook, and Leeds have an early corner, 0-0.
I'll tell you what a good start from Leeds United. Went from left to right, great ball in from Jayden Bogle, and what a header that was from Steve Cook. What a defensive header under his own goal, just a yard out, facing his own goal. And Joel Perreault was right behind just to head it in. It would have been an easy header and 1-0 up for sure.
And of course, Steve Cook knows all about the pressure these Leeds United players are under. He was part of the Bournemouth side that Eddie Howe led into the Premier League all those years ago. Corner about to be played in from the left. It's nodded down inside the penalty area. And again, Queen's Park Rangers having to scramble the ball away. It's a really positive start, this, from Leeds. And it's now collected inside their own penalty area by Meslier, the goalkeeper. Those 1,700 Leeds fans who've made the 400-mile round trip from Yorkshire, I think Scott will be really encouraged by the opening couple of minutes here.
Yeah, absolutely. Already it's a better start than I saw at Fratton Park last week. You know what? We're only a few minutes in. There's a long way to go.
Yeah, first goal, you feel absolutely vital here. Leeds buoyant after that victory in midweek. QPR not on a brilliant run of form. As Perreault drops deep into midfield, looks to release Bogle down the right, wins it back Perreault, and it is with Bogle now in the lime green footwear, slides the ball into the penalty area. Aronson was furthest forward for Leeds, and it's collected by Paul Nardi, the French goalkeeper for Queen's Park Rangers. 0-0 on Talksport, 3 minutes played here at Loftus Road.
Yeah, I wonder whether, or we wondered whether QPR would be a 5 at the back. It is a typical forward, Ronnie Edwards just holding and protecting that back four.
Does he effectively drop into a back three when Leeds are in possession, as they have been right from the off?
Yeah, well, he's actually sitting in front of the back four more often than not, but he certainly has the ability to drop in if need be. They've got to be careful, sorry, Cookie, they've got to be careful not to just sit back the whole time, though. You're at home, you want to be very much on the front foot. We know they're up against Leeds United, who will have more possession, you would have thought, but still, you can't be on the back foot all the time.
A reminder, there has been a goal already over on Talksport 2. Chelsea women lead Manchester City women 1-0 in the League Cup final. Ramirez with only 8 minutes played there as QPR come forward really for the first time, but the ball was always hit with too much pace and going behind for a goal kick. Leeds, who've lost only one of their last 18 championship games. And I mentioned the favourable run-in between now and the end of the season. They haven't got a single game against any of the current top 7. I think Adrian Durham read out the away fixtures they have, which certainly look very winnable. It's there for Leeds United. They won't want to end up in the playoffs again after, well, not just what happened against Southampton at Wembley last year, but their record in the playoffs historically.
Trust me, Quickie, they do not want to be in the playoffs.
The ball is currently in the gloves of Ilian Meslier, all in green, the Leeds goalkeeper. Plenty of clean sheets to his name this season, 20 in total. Bowls the ball out to the edge of the box, and then it finds its way to Junior Firpo down the left, but his pass is a poor one, picked up by Colback for QPR, and now Cook, the Queen's Park Rangers captain, just plays it back into defence. And then Cook eventually looks for the pass down this right-hand side. But again, Meslier, under no pressure, able to collect on the edge of the area. We've played 5 minutes on Talksport, 0-0 between Queen's Park Rangers and Leeds. No 12:30 game in the Premier League this afternoon, so I'll focus very much on the Championship and the battle for the top 2. Pascal Struijk asks Roden to come forward, and then the ball is threaded in towards Perreault. Again, well intercepted by the experienced Cook. It's been a solid start to the game for him, the Queen's Park Rangers number 5. And the goalkeeper here, Nardi, will clear it away left-footed towards the centre circle. Well won by Pascal Struijk. Scampering is Solomon down this Leeds United left-hand side. Pressing high and winning the ball back, the Tottenham loanee. Before eventually being bundled over. Bit of a cheap free kick to concede by Paul Smith, helping out his defence, and Leeds will have the opportunity now to summon forward the likes of Struijk and Roden to try and attack the set piece, Scott.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. This is a completely different Leeds United. Again, we are only 5 minutes in, no goals, shots on target as yet, but it's a completely different mentality from last week.
And they played the free kick out to the right-hand side. Bogle's initial cross was charged down. Likewise, Dan James on the rebound, and some defending to do here for Tanaka on halfway as QPR commit bodies forward, but he's done well there, Tanaka, just to shield the ball for long enough to allow the yellow shirts to get back in position. Then Tanaka coming forward down the right has won a throw. Real tenacious play from someone who's become a bit of a crowd favourite since signing from Fortuna Düsseldorf in the summer. Those Leeds fans in the top tier away to our right, showing their appreciation. 0-0 the score. Certainly Leeds have began the brighter. Solomon plays the ball through the legs of Morgan Fox and then into midfield, where Rothwell takes over. And he just spreads it to his right hand side, and Roden, another of Leeds' Welsh international contingent, now Tanaka, 15 yards or so inside the QPR half in the little pocket of the pitch that is covered in shadow. Very bright afternoon in West London, as Firpo is asked to do a little bit too much there by Pascal Struijk, and the ball is out of play for a QPR throw. It stays goalless.
Yeah, you can feel that the fans here are desperate to get behind their side. It's a wonderful day, Saturday lunchtime kickoff, the sun is shining, everybody's up for this game. Leeds United are in town, and at the moment they haven't had anything to shout about in terms of shots and goal, but just the tackles that's been put in, it's almost like they've scored. So great atmosphere here.
8 defeats in their last 10 championship outings for Queen's Park Rangers, including that 2-1 reverse at Middlesbrough in midweek. They aren't in any danger, pretty much marooned in mid-table. But Martin Cifuentes, their manager, out on the edge of his technical area, will see this as an opportunity to send out a message against one of the big guns in the division. Arguably the biggest gun in the Championship, Leeds United. They have a throw, Leeds, just inside the QPR half. Down the left, it will be taken by Firpo. Still 0-0 here on Talksport. Firpo's ball chested down by Aronson, but it's cleared away by Kenneth Powell, the left back for QPR. Colback beaten to it in midfield, and Perot looking to release James, then volleying left-footed from, well, fully 20 yards out. Brilliant technique. The ball was always rising. Goalkeeper Nardi never really looked in any trouble, but it was a sweet strike, Scott Minto.
Yes, it was. He tried to play Dan James in. The defender just sort of came off him, really, and back towards Perot, 20 yards out, bang in front of goal, central. And he thought, why not have a pop? And if it had waited just a split second more, it may have been able to come down, but because he took it reasonably high, he wasn't able to keep it down. But good strike.
It's a proper old school ground, isn't it? Loftus Road, the crowd very tight to the pitch. We've got 3 two-tiered stands, including the one that we're sat on in the back row of the press box, and then a single-tiered stand over on the far side.
Pillars,
blue steel cladding all around. Pillars, as you say, not quite blocking our vantage point to the goal, but
as the cameraman in front of us who is when it's close to the touchline.
Well, I can't see the corner spot down the left-hand side. You're a little bit shorter than me, so I imagine you can't either.
Well, you're 6'5", so I'll take that.
Just a little bit shorter. Scott Minto. 10 gone, 0-0. And for all their possession, Leeds United, apart from the incident where Steve Cook early on had to head the ball behind for a corner facing his own goal, they haven't really asked any questions of Paul Nardi, the QPR keeper.
No, but it has been a good start. It's been a very positive one. They have got on the ball. They have looked as if they're wanting to get forward with intent. And as I say, it's a completely different start in the first 10 minutes from last week at Fratton Park. They did come close with that great cross from Jayden Bogle, and Perot obviously just shot over. So after the first 10 minutes, I think they'll be pretty happy, Daniel Farke.
Firpo trying to come forward. He's won a free kick on the halfway line. Goals going in elsewhere in the National League. Oldham 0, Rochdale 1, League 2. Swindon behind against Cheltenham in a West Country derby. 1-0 to the visitors there, and Crewe lead Doncaster by 1-0. Remember, Adrian will be taking you around the grounds with all the goals they go in from the Premier League and beyond after we're finished here, and also bring you post-match reaction from Martin Cifuentes and his opposite number, Daniel Farke. Farke setting a new record for the fastest manager at a single championship club to reach 50 wins in the division in midweek.
Isn't that incredible? And yet, if they get into the playoffs and don't go up, it won't mean a thing.
Well, I think there was a decision to be made, wasn't there, at the end of last season after they missed out against Southampton. Very disappointing in that final at Wembley about whether Daniel Farke would continue, but they decided he was the right man, and you have to say, looking at the league table, that faith has been repaid so far.
And I think if you look at what happened at the beginning of last season, where there was so many players that wanted to leave the club, and the fans were, should we just say, unhappy with that, and rightly so. And it was almost as if Leeds United's season didn't start until a good few games in, and then you got time for these. You need time for these players to bed in. Obviously, how it finished was very disappointing, but I do think Daniel Farke is the right man, but there are question marks about his substitutions and being too late. And the bottom line is they do have the best squad in the division, so I still fancy them not just to go up but to win the title itself. But boy, is it going to be close from here on in.
And that squad depth illustrated by the fact Willie Gnonto, one of those players who wanted to leave in the summer, is only on the bench this afternoon and has found it really difficult to hold down a place in the side. QPR looking to attack. The ball played in towards Mitchie Fry, the Swiss front man, but he couldn't make it stick, and Leeds very quickly turned defence into attack. Dan James, speaking of quick, has the ball on the edge of the penalty area, but Jack Colback with that red hair is there to mop up and clear upfield. And then Kenneth Powell unable to stop his momentum and keep the ball in place. The Leeds have a throw taken quickly by Bogle inside the QPR half. 0-0 with 13 minutes gone for those of you just joining us here on Talksport. And the ball is with Tanaka of Leeds United inside the centre circle. The visitors from Elland Road dominating possession, trying to stretch this QPR side. Ball over the top to Solomon. Can't bring it down inside the penalty area, but he flicked it against one of the QPR defenders. I think it was Jimmy Dunn back there, and it's going to be a second Leeds corner of the opening 13 minutes.
Again, it's Leeds United very much on the front foot. You can see that the centre halves were splitting there. Tanaka was just dropping in, full-backs pushing on, but then so did Solomon. Ball in behind. It's been a good start from Leeds.
Short corner on this near side. Solomon with a chance to cross into the penalty area, headed away by Fry. Back as part of the QPR defence, all hands on deck there. Throw in for Leeds, level with the 18-yard line on this left touch line. Solomon is going to leave it for Firpo, and he plays it back to the halfway line. And Pascal Stroik, now Tanaka. Leeds looking to turn this possession into the opening goal of the game. And Solomon can't quite find Perot, cleared upfield but brought down inside the centre circle by Roden. And now Stroik, wearing the captain's armband, just dabs it forward to Rothwell. Tanaka with the opportunity to try and pick out a runner in space. He overhit the pass. It's behind for a goal kick, and I think that'll be a bit frustrating for Daniel Farker and those travelling Leeds fans, because they had good options there and Tanaka just couldn't find the ball.
Yeah, I mean, he's tried to ping it into Solomon there, and it's almost one of those where it has to be inch perfect, and it wasn't. But still, I still think it has been a good start. You've just got to keep on in this way. If they suddenly start to, I might play a pass that's going to go not to our player, or a little bit overhit, then suddenly you become nervous. You keep it simple, and it's much easier to defend against. Got to keep being positive.
And actually, considering how many people are crammed into Loftus Road this afternoon, the atmosphere just a little bit subdued. The home side not giving their supporters too much to get their teeth into. That could change with a long punt towards the Leeds area, but it's swept away by Stroik, picked up by Colback, and now Fry comes over to the left-hand side. Colback knocks it forward. This is comfortably QPR's best spell so far, but it's given away by Sato on the edge of the penalty area, and Leeds content just to let it trickle out for a throw down by their left corner flag. 0-0.
Well, at least they've got into Leeds' half, and I mean, you're right about the fans, but it has been because Leeds United have been very much on top in terms of possession, and QPR have not had a shot on or off target yet, so the only things they can cheer on are tackles, which is what they've tried to do. But you say this is QPR's best part of the game so far. It was only 3 or 4 passes, and
well, that tells you how dominant Leeds have been in terms of possession, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It tells you everything about how the game's gone so far.
Ball flicked forward towards Fry. Firpo looking for offside. The assistant referee keeps his flag down, and Firpo forced to just prod the ball out for a throw. Protest as the throw-in is about to be taken. The flag should have gone up there, but a chance here for QPR to load up the penalty area. They do get a lot of goals from these kind of dead ball situations. Cook and Dunn particularly decent in the air, and they've been sent forward by Martin Cifuentes here as the throw-in is about to be hoisted into the penalty area in front of those travelling Leeds fans to our right. 0-0, and it's Paul Smith who's gone right to the advertising hoardings to get maximum leverage. First time ball is cleared away. Powell gives it back to Smith. He's got a chance to cross here into the area. Oh, and it was headed by Joe Roden against his own man. Tanaka could have gone anywhere. In the end, Leeds managed to smuggle it clear. Here's Sato though, down the left-hand side. First real spell of pressure for QPR, and again Sato's pass gives the ball away, but it comes back to Sato, and he has lashed it into the far corner. It's a bolt from the blue for Queen's Park Rangers, but what a hit that is. And Koki Sato has put Leeds behind. Is their capital punishment going to continue? QPR 1, Leeds United 0. Where on earth did that come from?
My goodness. Their first shot on or off target, but it's all about being clinical, and that's exactly what Koki Saito was there. He came inside on the left, he passed it, and actually he gave it away, but it was really poor play in the end. The ball just came back to him and he took it first time. He's inside the box on the left hand side but on his right foot, and he's whipped it in. And we've talked about Ilya Meliera's perhaps not had the best of seasons. You're never quite sure what you're going to get from him. He is liable for mistake, but you cannot blame him for that at all. It's a wonderful strike. 1-0 QPR.
It's the football equivalent of a Hail Mary, isn't it? He's just absolutely belted that into the far corner. I mean, you won't see a better goal anywhere in the country.
It's a wonderful strike. But Brendan Harrison, what you're doing when you're in the box, you cannot try to pass your way out of it unless you're 100% sure.
Leeds are stunned. 17 minutes gone. QPR 1, Leeds United 0. And QPR all of a sudden have their towels up. Colback trying to play it down the left-hand side. He's asking a lot of Fry, but he does slide and at least keep the ball from going behind for a goal kick. It's going to be a Leeds throw and a chance for the blue and white jerseys to pin back their opponents. Saito, only his third goal of the season. I would level, he's never scored a sweeter one. And as you say, it all came from him giving the ball away initially. He's into the area again here, Saito. This time Leeds have smuggled it towards the halfway line. QPR 1, Leeds 0. And some nervous travelling Leeds fans away to our right-hand side now, having been absolutely in control of this game.
Yeah, absolutely. But Leeds have to be careful. They have to be composed. They have to just think to themselves, OK, we're 1-0 down, but we have dominated this game. But ultimately, it's all about putting the ball in the back of the net. But if they start thinking, oh no, here we go again, then it's going to be another early kick-off. It's going to be another London game. It's going to be another poor result. And it's going to be another heap of pressure on them. There's still plenty of time to get back into this game and get all 3 points.
2 wins in 10 for Leeds United when they're put in this early kick-off slot on a Saturday afternoon this season. 24 defeats from their last 31 visits to London, 9 defeats in their last 10 trips to the capital. And it looks like it's happening again, but plenty of time, as Scott Minto has articulated, to get back in this for the visitors. Daniel Farker down below us won't be hitting a panic button just yet. Still Chelsea 1, Manchester City 0 in the Women's League Cup final over on Talksport 2 right now. Here's Solomon, 10 yards outside the penalty area, room to turn, plays it out to Firpo on his left-hand side. Firpo with a low cross, cleared away for a throw. 1-0 QPR.
It's been a decent reaction. They've got back on the ball. They've still kept their passing. They've still tried to look forward. And I think it's really important. I mean, look, it's not all about the next 10-15 minutes, but if Leeds can get a goal now, then suddenly you're back on level terms, back on the front foot, and you're in control of the game. If they don't, the longer it goes on, if it goes to half-time, and the Leeds United fans, as well as the players, start to get a little nervous.
It was just a mess, wasn't it, the goal, from a Leeds perspective. The initial header, I think, from Roden, hit Aronson. Aronson then had the chance to clear it away, dispossessed by Saito. Saito gives it away, wins it back, and then bends one superbly into that far corner, and Melier is beaten and Leeds trail 1-0.
Yeah, I don't want to criticise him too much because he's not been great since coming back to Leeds. He's been okay, Brendan Harrison, but as I say, that was a number 10 just trying to make a pass where you don't make a pass like that. You either trying to get out of it yourself or you just get rid of it.
I don't think there's any doubt about who producer Jeremy to my left is blaming for the Leeds goal. He's just been angrily pointing at Aronson's name on my team sheet for the last 5 or 6 minutes.
I've read his mind clearly.
Ball played forward by Nardi. He's also doing a brilliant job with his knee at keeping our power supply plugged in. It is, as well as being an old school stadium, it's an old school press box. Should we just say that here at Loftus Road? 1-0 to QPR. Oh, Maisie from Solomon, and then he's been unceremoniously hacked to the ground by Jimmy Dunn. That's the easiest yellow card you'll see all season.
And he didn't need to make it, and now he's put himself under pressure. You know, Solomon's coming inside, he's shown a little trick, but he's not really going anywhere. He just would have passed it off. Now by Jimmy Dunn doing exactly that, he's one mistimed tackle away from letting his team down and going down to 10 men.
And it was a really good feat by Manor Solomon before that. Solomon, who's been a key part of this promotion push for Leeds. 7 goals, 8 assists for the Israeli on loan from Tottenham. And he's won his team a free kick, probably only about 15 yards inside QPR territory, but Leeds will take it short. Rothwell out to Firpo. And now Pascal Struijk. QPR a goal to the good. Koki Sato scoring it in the 17th minute. Leeds have been very much in control to that point, but questions being asked now of the championship leaders. Struijk looking to release Bogle down the right hand side, cleared by Powell, but it wasn't the most convincing of clearances, and Bogle will get it back down by the right corner flag. He's got Perot in the centre, James there as well, and Solomon, and Bogle trying to get across into the box, does so over the head of the first man, Steve Cook, and then cleared away by Edwards and out for a Leeds throw on the far side. 1-0 QPR.
Yeah, again, they're knocking at the door, but they're not really creating clear-cut chances, are they? The closest they've come to the goal was that great cross from Bogle, and the shot over as well from Perot. Since the goal, that they haven't created the chances, but they're still on the front foot. The mentality is right, and that's what they've got to do.
They have got a corner over on the far side from that throw-in, and it's going to be Joe Rothwell with the delivery. So the chance for Joe Roden to come forward, and Pascal Struijk as well. Plenty of aerial options in this Leeds United team. Trailing by a goal to nil on Talksport. It's going to be Rothwell from the right. Just seems about to strike the ball. The referee has whistled because there was a bit of a argy-bargy inside the area. Never ideal, Scott, when you're about to whip it in.
No, it's not. And you know, sometimes it looks simple just putting the corner in, but when you're feeling under pressure, you know you've got to put it in with whip and pace and not just float it in there.
Take 2 as far as Rothwell is concerned. Right for the delivery towards the near post, disappointing. And it's cleared up towards the halfway line by Powell, to ironic jeers from the home supporters. Here's Fry deep inside his own half. QPR a goal up against Leeds United, top of the championship. Leeds looking to open up a 5-point lead on Sheffield United in second. Sheffield United in action over on Talksport 2 tomorrow in a Still City derby. For now, though, you're listening to QPR Leeds in the EFL Championship live on Talksport with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the app and get reward points. 18 plus, participating restaurants, delivery fees and terms apply. See mcdonalds.com. What will Daniel Farke be thinking, Scott?
Well, if anything's gone by this season, he'll be thinking a lot without actually doing anything. He doesn't really make substitutions. Look, the performance has been good, and even the reaction. And look, whatever we say, this is not the QPR team of last season, where obviously they hammered Leeds United 4-0. But still, it's a difficult place to go. You know, 7 wins out of the last 9. But in terms of the performance, and that's what you've got to try and rely on. The goal has come out with nothing. I've had someone saying to me, was that Brendan Aaronson's first assist of 2025?
Just
slightly
that is
harsh.
brutal, isn't it?
But they've just got to keep knocking at the door. It's a 90-minute game, and you have to believe, as much as the first goal, when you look at stats, can seem to be very, very important indeed, the top teams are able to find a way. And to be fair, Leeds United have done it, haven't they, recently? Scored late goals.
Yeah, particularly on their travels, they've had to come from behind a few times of late. Here's Dan James down by the right corner flag. His cross blocked behind by Powell. It will be another corner, their 4th of this first half. Leeds trailing by a goal to nil. Koki Sato on 17 minutes with an absolute beauty into the far corner, but after some real shoddy defending from the visitors. I'm sure there'll be words said about that in the cramped dressing room at half-time, as Rothwell again looks to deliver from the right. He'll be hoping, Daniel Farke will be hoping, those Leeds fans will be hoping he gets better purchase on this one. And it's towards the penalty spot, but again, nobody in yellow can get on the end of it. Picked up on the edge of the box by Solomon. Tanaka with a cross back towards the far post. Steve Cook heads it clear. Rothwell brings the ball down, but I think was caught in 2 minds there about whether to shoot early or try and find a teammate, and in the end he's given the ball away and it's released upfield. No harm done as Smith sprints but can't stop it trickling out for a Leeds throw, and they continue to trail 1-0, the visitors. Yeah, look, I mean, I have to say it's good defending from QPR. They look very, very solid. As much as Leeds are having a lot of possession, it's all possession in their own half or even in the middle third, but when it comes to the final third, then apart from that one Jayden Bogle cross, it's not been too much quality that's come in, and obviously that was dealt with very well indeed. Comes ball from Struijk, Trying to clear the ball upfield, only hit the first Queen's Park Rangers man. Ronnie Edwards well forward, and now it's out to the left-hand side, and the goal scorer for QPR, Sato. Nodded down by Tanaka for Leeds, bit of head tennis around about the halfway line, then it's plucked from the air by Sato, but he's had his pocket picked over on that right touchline by Aronson. And Aronson just about managing to find Bogle, hurdles one challenge, then pokes the ball forward, looking for Dan James. But that's been the story, isn't it, for Leeds in the last few minutes, certainly since they fell behind, overhit the pass, and it will be collected under no pressure from Nardi inside the 6-yard box. 1-0 QPR.
Yeah, the final ball there, I mean, it was really good play from Jayden Bogle in the first place, going in between two QPR players, and going forward he's very, very good, isn't he? One of the best in this division. And just that final ball was overplayed and gave Dan James no chance whatsoever.
Here's Tanaka for Leeds. 1-0 down at Loftus Road with 28 minutes played. Cross is going to come in from the Leeds right. That's a better delivery. And I think Dunn got caught underneath the ball. Maybe the sun played a part there, but QPR has still managed to clear it deep inside the Leeds half, and Meslier will come out to just knock the ball forward on the near left-hand side to Pascal Struijk. Now Tanaka in midfield, rolls it forward to Roden. Bit of space for Dan James to try and exploit down the right, taking on Powell. Colback immediately comes over and covers, and the former Sunderland man who gets his foot in first and then plays it down the line to Fry. Oh, just got it stuck under his studs there, Fry. He's frustrated with himself, and Leeds have a throw right on halfway.
Yeah, the problem for QPR is they're defending really well, but they're not able to keep the ball. And whenever they try and counter-attack and it's the right idea, they're not holding the ball up. Fry was a little bit unlucky there. It was just underneath his feet, and it kind of bounced off him a little bit earlier. Paul Smith made a good run down the channels, but that was overplayed. Can't keep on defending like this for the full 90 minutes, you'd think.
Bogle. James wanted the early ball, gets the early ball, pirouettes away from his marker. James into the penalty area for Aronson. Cross is blocked. Half-hearted appeal for handball from the American, but Powell with a chance to bring it clear, and he's had his heels clipped by Aronson. Free kick for QPR, around about 10 yards outside their area to the left of centre.
Well, I'll tell you what, you asked what Daniel Farke will be thinking. Marty Cifuentes will be absolutely delighted. He knew all along they weren't going to have the lion's share of possession. At the moment it's only 33%, but it doesn't matter when it comes to where you win matches in both boxes. Leeds made one mistake and was punished, and QPR haven't made any mistakes.
And still, Paul Nardi, the QPR goalkeeper, hasn't had a meaningful save to make. We've played half an hour on Talksport. QPR 1, Leeds 0. And it is a very subdued away end to our right since that goal from Sato. Long punt upfield by QPR, nodded down by Dunn towards the penalty area, cleared for a throw by Struijk. Throw in will be taken on the near side by Lucas Anderson, the Dane. In fact, he's going to leave it, so again I think they're summoning forward the likes of Dunn and Cook, maybe to put the ball in here. They're taking it short. Smith back to Anderson, and now Smith with the chance to cross. It's a dink delivery. Steve Cook with a header off the post, and Queen's Park Rangers double their lead, and Leeds United are under massive pressure now. Steve Cook with a captain's goal. It was a pinpoint delivery by Smith, the header that kissed the inside of the post before finding the back of the net, and QPR go 2-0 up on the leaders.
Well, it's one thing to be 1-0 down, it is another thing to be 2-0 down away from home, when you know you're not very good in London, you're not very good with the early kickoffs, you're under pressure. But that goal is so disappointing to give away. Let's be positive first. Really good play down the right hand side. Smith found himself with a lot of space. It's a wonderful cross to the far post, but how on earth was Steve Cook pretty much free? But it's a great header. The way he leaps, the way he powers it back where it came from, and it's in off the post again, giving Meslier no chance whatsoever. But one, how can that be allowed 2v1 on the wing? Secondly, how can someone like Steve Cook, I mean, look, Crookie, he's almost as big as you. I mean, you can't miss him. Pick him up, or at least get into him so he can't jump. And because he's free, he's able to power it and give Meslier no chance whatsoever. 2-0 down, Leeds United. What have you got?
Leeds are falling apart again, is the song being chanted Full volume from the Queen's Park Rangers supporters. 2-0 down inside half an hour here. Beaten 4-0 at Loftus Road last season, and well, those travelling supporters will be having a big case of deja vu away to our right. And it's funny that you're talking there about Steve Cook. I was in conversation with Paul Parker, former QPR defender, former England defender, before the game. He was talking about the goal that Fulham conceded against Brighton last week. Jan-Paul van Hecke unmarked to head in. And he was saying, if you're a defender, you just can't afford to leave the big men in that kind of space, because they're always going to beat you in the air.
Well, first of all, again, I've got to say, it was the two parts to it. How on earth can they be allowed to be a 2-on-1 in the first place?
Well, here comes another long throw into that penalty area. They are certainly struggling to deal with QPR from dead balls Leeds. It's cleared this time. Picked up by Solomon, but immediately has it nipped off his toe by Smith. It was a brilliant cross from Smith. Not a particularly powerful one, and that made the header even more impressive, that Steve Cook actually had to generate a lot of his own power.
Absolutely. So 2v1 should never have happened down wide, but once you realise he's free, he looks up, he gets his head down again, he's going to put the cross in. You look around to see who the nearest person to you is. I'll go back to it. Steve Cook, he's not a 5'5" midget. He's big, he's strong, he's powerful. You make sure, even if you can't win the header, that you lean against him so he can't get a proper jump. And you're right, because it was a bit of a floated cross, and he certainly had to generate the power. Even if you don't win the header from a defensive point of view, if you get your physical part, an arm or a bit of the body against him, he's not able to jump and power it back where it came from. So really poor defending from Leeds.
And here comes another of these long throw-ins down the QPR right. Again, Cook and Dunn have come forward, and it's going to be Smith towards the near post, bouncing awkwardly, and I think Fry there is appealing to the referee, Tim Robinson, that he was being held and was dragged to the floor. Not sure there was much in that. Meslier bowls it out quickly, and Roden carries the ball all the way into the QPR half. 2-0 to the home side for those of you just joining us here on Talksport on this sunny March afternoon. An opportunity maybe for Aronson to get a shot away, but Colback with a perfectly timed slide tackle to dispossess him. And then Aronson, in trying to win the ball back, he's gone diving in. It's going to be a free kick for QPR inside their own box.
The problem is, Leeds haven't played badly. They've played better than last week at Fratton Park, but first 10 minutes, okay, you know, you've been the better side, you haven't really created too many clear-cut chances, but we are now nearly 35 minutes in, and you still haven't created any clear-cut chances. You know, yes, you've been poor defensively, and you can't be conceding those type of goals, but they've still not had a shot on target yet. You know, that's not good enough in itself.
Free kick here for Nardi, a yard inside the penalty area. Gets plenty of purchase on that right-footed towards the opposite box. Fry grappling with Stroik. That's been an interesting physical battle. And the ball is now out on the right-hand side with Lucas Anderson. Anderson back to Cook, scorer of the second QPR goal. Decent looking ball forward to Sato, who got the first, but it's defended by Firpo, and now Leeds can counter. Perot out to Aronson down the right. Bogle is bursting forward ahead of him. At the moment it's only Solomon inside the penalty area. Bogle's going to shoot from the edge of the box, high over the bar and into about row 10 of the stand behind the goal.
Yeah, that is frustration, that's nervousness, that is a player who is panicking a little bit. And Jayden Bogle has been brilliant for Leeds United this season, but you know, when you're in that position, there's no point in shooting. You're well wide of the goal. You're, 25-30 yards out. That's going to be some strike to beat the keeper from there.
A reminder, Burnley go to Swansea this afternoon. Another of the automatic promotion chasers. Sheffield United go to Sheffield Wednesday, and a Steel City derby. You'll hit that game tomorrow, live on Talksport 2. As it stands, Leeds 2 points clear at the top, having played a game more than Sheffield United. If Burnley were to win this afternoon, you'd expect them to win at Swansea, and Leeds do go on and lose this game, they'll only be a point behind. Suddenly it looks fascinating in the three-team race for the top two.
Do you know what? It's just incredible, isn't it? When you think about what happened last weekend with Sheffield United and Burnley winning and Leeds losing, then midweek, and Sheffield United and Burnley drawing and Leeds winning, and now it could be the opposite again.
But that's the Championship, isn't it? Particularly at this stage of the season. Adrian Durham said it when he threw to us for commentary. Strange things can happen.
This is the Championship at its best, for sure.
Here's Bogle, right-hand side for Leeds. Long, raking pass forward, but well defended by Ronnie Edwards to head it clear.
Although not if you're a Leeds United fan, of course.
Let's get half-time in the Women's League Cup final. That's live on Talksport 2. Here's Jeff Peters.
Well, Chelsea lead Manchester City 1-0 thanks to an early goal from Mayra Ramirez, her 9th of the season, after a sublime pass from Lauren James. The Colombians should have doubled the lead when clean through. City have had plenty of chances. Hampton with some crucial saves. End-to-end, brilliant game. Half-time, Chelsea 1, Man City 0.
And here at Loftus Road, we've played 37 minutes. It's QPR 2, Leeds 0. Leeds looking to extend their lead at the top of the table, but all of a sudden they're going to be looking nervously over their shoulders unless they can stage a grandstand comeback here. You have to say, since the goal, Scott, QPR have been relatively in control.
No, they have. They've been comfortable, and this is where we'll go back to what we've said almost all season. Daniel Farke, look, he knows this division inside out. He knows how to get a club promoted, but you're 2-0 down away from home. Been aimed at you, you don't make changes. What are you going to do this time around? And are you going to be really proactive and do it at half-time? It's not as if they haven't got a good bench. You've mentioned, Will Nonto, but there's also, largely Ramazani as well. The options are there for sure. So what is he going to do? And if he doesn't do anything or does it too late and they have another defeat, then the pressure on him is going to pile on.
Well, it would change the whole complexion of his thinking if Leeds could get a goal back before half-time. 8 minutes of this first half to play. Perrault, who's been starved of service, has possession halfway inside the QPR half, but unable to make too much progress. The ball is recycled out to the Leeds left, and Solomon, he comes in field 15 yards outside the box to Naka. That's better play through to Bogle, and two QPR players immediately come across the challenge, and Leeds are going to have another corner.
It's really good play from Bogle. I mean, Dan James stayed out wide, so he was that inverted fullback, almost playing like a number 10. Great ball into him. Good defending again, though, QPR. You have to say, they've defended so well so far this afternoon.
Rothwell coming over to take the corner. I have to say also, the lead set pieces have been pretty tame to this point. They've taken it short. Solomon with a scooping cross. Tanaka goes down under a challenge. Referee not interested in any penalty appeals, and Leeds have a throw now on this left touchline. Tanaka to take it. 2-0 down, the visitors. The Championship leaders in big trouble away from home in London once again. Short throw to Perrault. Back to the centre circle and Bogle. Now Rothwell. Keeping the ball here, Leeds, but not really in an area where they can seriously challenge their opponents, and QPR have got everybody back inside their own half. Very well organised, well drilled, Martin Cifuente's side. Tanaka into Perrault, first time layoff, looking for Solomon. Solomon left edge of the penalty area. He's got Firpo in support. He comes in field for Rothwell. Now Tanaka. This is better from Leeds. Perrault plays it out to Solomon, left hand side. Good ball towards the far post, and it creeps in. And Leeds United are back in this game. I think it may even be an own goal, but they picked their way through there, and it was Solomon who I think was just aiming, Scott, to put the ball into the danger zone, hoping that someone, be it a yellow shirt or a blue and white one, would get a touch on it. And in the end, the ball has found the far corner, and Leeds United have a way back in. QPR 2, Leeds 1. They're protesting, the QPR players surrounding the assistant over on the far side. What are they complaining about, Scott?
Well, maybe offside, I don't know. I think it's come off Morgan Fox. But look, that's the first time we've seen Leeds United not just sort of pass and then go left to right and right to left.
Well, if Jayden Bogle got a touch, he is in an offside position. We can see that clearly on the replays. That's why the QPR players are so infuriated. It's a really teasing ball. Does he touch it, Bogle?
I can't.
Right in front of the goalkeeper, clearly a yard or so offside. We might get a better angle on this replay on the monitor. Solomon, as I said, with a cross, took a nick off a QPR player. I'm not sure Bogle did touch it.
No, I'm not sure he did. And look, it's the first time they've really got into the box with good play, good 1-2 touch play, and they were trying to get forward. it was a really good team goal, and in a way it's a shame that it ended up being an own goal, but I'm not sure he was offside anyway.
Well, the goal has been credited to Junior Firpo. We thought that Morgan Fox maybe got the last touch. We're watching the replay now. Perot initially squeezing the pass out to Solomon. Firpo at the near post. It's so difficult to work out the last contact from the various angles that we're seeing. What we do know is that Leeds United have halved the deficit. Like you, Scott, my initial reaction was Fox got the last contact, but it's gone down as a Junior Firpo goal, his 4th of the season. We're going to need to see a clearer replay at half-time to see if Bogle did actually get his toe on the ball, because if he did, you can understand why the QPR defenders were so agitated.
Well, it wasn't definitive, was it? I'm sure both Firpo and Fox wanted to go to Firpo, but look, I have to say, Leeds haven't really been that great at all, but it's the first time they've passed and got into the box, and it's a really good whipped ball in. It's just horrible to defend against from a defending point of view.
God, Bogle
still can't tell.
If he didn't touch it, he is inches away. But Firpo credited with a goal, and it's QPR 2, Leeds 1. We've got 2.5 minutes the first half to play. And moods in that away dressing room will be much brighter now. They will be much more confident, Leeds, of completing the comeback and at least taking something from this game they were a few minutes ago when they were 2 down. Foul by Firpo on Smith, and he had a little kick out there when he was on the floor, Junior Firpo. Not sure that was completely necessary. The referee, Tim Robinson, is just beckoning him away. The Leeds left back, the Leeds goal scorer.
Well, he has to be disciplined for sure. Leeds cannot afford to go down to 10 men. It's already difficult enough coming back from 2-0 down, but that goal just before half-time really does change things psychologically from both sides. Leeds United be thinking they can get one moment away now in the draw and they can go on and get the win. And do you know what? I was at Norwich midweek, Crookie, where they were 2-0 up at half-time against Sheffield Wednesday, and Sheffield Wednesday came back and won 3-2.
That will be the hope of those 1,700 Leeds fans away to the right. QPR 2, Leeds 1 here then as we move towards half-time over on Talksport 2 in the Women's League Cup final. Chelsea 1, Manchester City 0. Ramirez with the early goal. We've got the Men's League Cup final from Wembley tomorrow afternoon, 4:30 kick-off. It's Liverpool against Newcastle. Darren Bent and Lee Clark, the former Newcastle midfielder, amongst our commentary team for the big showpiece game at Wembley. Oh, that's brilliant play by Dunn, keeping the ball in on this right touchline. Superb control, I think, with a thigh. And then the cross from Anderson towards Fry. That's a free header. Tried to loop it towards the far corner, but in the end it was straight into the arms of Meslier. It stays 2-1 QPR. Yeah,
that would have been some header. Again, we talked about how Steve Cook generated the pace and power. A difficult one there. It's been a decent reaction from QPR, but Leeds United, you can tell, boy, are they right back in this game.
Leeds coming forward in search of an equaliser before half-time. We've only got 30 seconds of normal time to play in this opening period. Junior Firpo, their goal scorer, plays it out to the left, and James looking to take on Dunn, but well defended by the Queen's Park Rangers fullback, and then the clearance to halfway is picked up initially by Stroik, and now Tanaka for Leeds, out to the left-hand side, and Firpo again. Solomon, who really created that goal with a low cross towards the 6-yard box. First time that Manor Solomon has really been able to operate in any space in this first half. We move into 2 added minutes at the end of the 45. QPR 2, Leeds 1. You're listening to Talksport. And it's Rothwell who just passed the ball a few yards to his right. And Joe Roden, now Tanaka. Firpo well forward, but he miscontrols on the edge of the Leeds area, and that might allow the counter because Sato's in acres of space to the left. Fry comes the other way looking for Smith. Not sure he knew his teammate was available, and Leeds United able to clear it away.
No, if he had known, then he would have been free, wouldn't he? He was able to turn with that first touch.
And there's Perot on the halfway line for Leeds, immediately closed down by not 1, not 2, but 3 Queen's Park Rangers players. They've shackled him well, Joel Perot, man who scored 15 goals this season already, more than he managed in the whole of last term. Bogle with a cross blocked by Sato, score of the opener for QPR. Half-time at Crewe 1, Doncaster 0. It's one of a number of early kickoffs in the EFL this afternoon. And we've played more than a minute of the 2 added on. One last chance for Leeds to come forward before the interval. Ball played down the line on this near touchline to Solomon. Can't control it, out for a throw, and probably Scott Minto, that will be the last meaningful action.
Yeah, probably. I'm just thinking about that goal and how it kind of happened, and it was a good cross from Solomon to Firpo. I think he got the touch, but I do think Morgan Fox got the last touch. But he was onside, Firpo, but Jayden Bogle was offside, and he didn't get the touch. So I do think it was the right decision.
And I guess in terms of who actually has been credited with a goal, that the rule is if it's on target, then you will be the goal scorer. There's the half-time whistle. Well, Leeds United, not for the first time, having their travails on their travels in London. 2-0 down after half an hour. A brilliant opener on 17 minutes from Koki Sato, curling the ball beautifully into the far corner. Steve Cook doubled that lead with a sweet header that kissed the post on its way to goal. But Leeds United throwing themselves a lifeline right at the end of the first half. A contentious goal as far as QPR are concerned. Solomon with the low cross, flicked towards the far corner by Firpo. Scott thinks maybe Morgan Fox got a touch on it. The QPR defence convinced that in an offside position Jayden Bogle did, but the goal stands, and that gives Leeds hope of a second half fight back for the Championship leaders. Half time here, it's QPR 2, Leeds United 1.
Well, Scott Minto, not much to talk about in that first half, really, is there? Let's start with the bad news as far as Leeds are concerned. The brilliant news for QPR is they lead. And the first goal, Koki Sato, after 17 minutes, it's a brilliant finish, no question. He takes it first time, nobody's expecting it. But nobody's expecting Brendan Aronson to pass it to him. He does well, Brendan Aronson, to track his runner. That's brilliant. You track back, you do all that work. Does well to intercept the pass from Sato and then gives it straight back to him. Talk to me from a player's point of view. What's going on in Brendan Aronson's mind that he passes it straight back to the guy who's giving it to him?
Hey, do you know what? I don't know, and it's why we used to say, listen, if you're a number 10 or a striker, get out the box. I don't want you down here. I want you further up the pitch, especially the number 10s, actually, because they're the ones who, whatever happens, they want to play out. And I do get it, the way that, football's gone nowadays, and I love it, actually. I like to watch, but only when it's on. That's the sort of my key mantra. I like seeing people play out from the back, but only when it's on. And it simply wasn't on there, and he left Bogle short. And to be fair to Koki Sato, it was a wonderful finish. Meslier had no chance whatsoever. He's whipped it into the far post. Top Premier League like. It's a wonderful strike, but it's just a really poor goal to concede. But it actually wasn't the worst goal for Leeds United to concede.
You're right, because the second one after half an hour, Steve Cook's header, and this is down to defenders and not just those who didn't mark Steve Cook in the box. Somehow QPR had an overload on the right-hand side as they're attacking, and then they had a player completely free to head the ball home. When you're analysing that, when you're Daniel Farker and the analysts analysing that goal, there's so much to unpick.
Well, do you know what? You don't even have to use video footage. You can just say it. How on earth can you have a 2v1 overload down the side? That should not happen. Someone should be screaming at someone to get out there, get a 2v2. That it just cannot happen. And to be fair, QPR worked it well. So then Smith's out wide. He looks up, he looks down again. You know what's coming. It's going to be a cross, and more than likely to the far post. Otherwise, it's going to be easily defended. So you look around to see who's around. Look, hey, Cookie's just sort of said I'm a little bit shorter than him. He did me a favour there. But even if I'm up against Steve Cook, I'm going to get my body and my arm against him so that I know that probably he's going to win the header, but he's not going to get a proper header on it. And by having that amount of space meant that he was able to time his jumps, so that he had no physical contact against him, and he was able to power the header back where it came from, and again giving Meslier no chance whatsoever. It was a brilliant header, it was a well-worked goal, but defensively speaking, it was so poor.
The Leeds goal that's put them back in it, I think is fairly straightforward, to be honest. At first glance, I'm with you. What on earth has gone on? What are they appealing for? Is Bogle offside? But Solomon puts the ball in. Firpo pokes it towards the corner of the net. He's totally onside, Firpo. Bogle runs after it but doesn't touch it. He is miles offside, but he doesn't touch it. He's not interfering. He's not in anybody's way. So I can't see why QPR, I mean, Steve Cook was berating the lino. I can't see why they're upset about it, other than somebody was in an offside position, but they weren't interfering and didn't touch the ball. So I'm not sure QPR know the rules. Well, it's a legitimate goal.
Well, first of all, it's a legitimate goal. Second of all, Aid, if you're a QPR centre-half there, I know you'd be doing exactly the same thing in the hope that the linesman would put his flag up or something. But look, no, absolutely. It was a legitimate goal. And do you know what? It was the one bit of brilliance Leeds United showed in that first half. They were quite dominant from early on in the first 10 minutes. We out-created too much. They had that Jayden Bogle cross. There was a brilliant header from Cook almost underneath his own crossbar. Apart from the Joel Perreault shot that went over as well. Yes, they had a lot of possession, but QPR looked pretty comfortable. So it was the first time they went almost from back to front, from left to right, to get inside the box. The ball came in from Solomon. And yes, I mean, doesn't it also show that both fullbacks were trying to get forward? The fact that Firpo did get a touch, the fact that Bogle didn't get the touch. I'd be doing exactly the same as Steve Cook, but no, it was a really good goal. And I tell you what, that changes so much psychologically. It changes the half-time team talk, and it changes both QPR's mindset for the second half as well as Leeds United's.
Well, let's give you the half-times up and down the country. Sky Bet Championship, Millwall 0, Stoke City 0 at half-time. QPR lead Leeds 2-1, live on Talksport. In League One, we're waiting for goals. Bolton 0, Stockport 0 in the Manchester Derby, and Cambridge 0, Peterborough 0 in the Cambridgeshire Derby, which hasn't been great. League 2, Crewe 1, Doncaster 0. Conor O'Riordan scored a beauty rocket from about 30 yards last week. He scored a tap-in this week, the centre-half. And Swindon 1, Cheltenham 1. Jordan Thomas for Cheltenham. Will Wright got the equaliser just on half-time for Ian Holloway's Swindon. Will Wright, who scored for me goal of the season, day one for Swindon at Chesterfield. And in the Vanarama National League, in another Manchester derby, Oldham 0, Rochdale 1, both in the playoff positions at the start of the day. Rochdale on a bit of a roll, the FA Trophy semi-finalists. And live on Talksport 2, Chelsea 1, Man City 0 in the second half now of the Women's League Cup final at Pride Park. But live on Talksport, Leeds looked like they were going to lose yet again at Loftus Road, lose again in London, but they're back in it. They trailed 2-1 at QPR. Live on Talksport.
Power up your business with Peugeot's new LCV range at our professional days. Our new all-electric vans offer plenty of range to get you from A to B, up to 20 driver assistance systems and complete connectivity. Buy a new Peugeot van between the 17th February and 17th March and you'll get a £750 saving plus a free home charger with standard installation for all-electric vans. Peugeot. Business powered. Valid from 17th Feb to 17th March 25. Saving on OTR price. Business users only. Selected stock. Participating retailers. Full T's and C's apply. Visit peugeot.co.uk.
Does your home or business have a radio teleswitch electricity meter, or RTS meter for short? Well, from June, the signal that controls RTS meters is being switched off, and some people could be left without heating and hot water. If you've got storage heaters, you may have an RTS meter. There are other ways to tell, but your best bet is to look for a switch box near your electricity meter, often labelled Radio Teleswitch. So, if your energy supplier has been in touch about getting a new meter, contact them now. Don't delay. The RTS switch-off is on the way. This message is from Ofgem, the independent energy regulator.
Thanks, Peter. Coming up, we have league action live on Friday night, followed by 3 more games live on Saturday, then 2 more massive games live on Sunday. And don't forget, league action live on Monday night. Then it's over to Europe for the big one, live on Tuesday. Then the even bigger one, live on Wednesday. Then it's the other European competition.
Sometimes a break isn't a bad idea. So, if ever you want to take time out from betting, use Paddy Power's Take a Break tool to pause your account. Paddy Power. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Right, brace yourself. Co-op members get 2 pizzas and a tub of Ben & Jerry's and a chance to win Co-op Live tickets for a £5. Yep, a £5. It's kind of a big deal, eh?
You're unbelievable.
Co-op, owned by you, right by you.
Ends 25th of March, subject to availability. 100 pairs of tickets to be won. Co-op group members only. See co-op.co.uk/win tickets.
What makes a good bet? At Virgin Bet, we think it's a simple bet, a responsible bet, a last-minute winner when you're down to 10 men kind of bet, with generous offers. A bet that puts sport first. Sound like your kind of bet? Then you're ready to get started. Sign up and get £20 in free bets when you bet £10 on sports. Virgin Bet. A good bet. New members. Min bet settled in first 14 days. Min odds 1.5. Free bets valid 7 days on sports. T's and C's and deposit exclusions apply. Bet responsibly. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
Rewards Week is now on at Arnold Clark. From BMW to MG, Seat to Citroën and Vauxhall to Volvo, we've discounted more than 30 deals by up to £1,000. Plus, buy a car from the 10th to the 17th of March and get a reward. Choose from a night away for two, a Road Angel dashcam or a £50 Love to Shop e-gift card. See arnoldclark.com.
At William Hill Vegas, we're bursting with entertainment. Introducing V-Play, where revealing rewards couldn't be easier. Play your usual slots and table games featuring the V-Play icon. And when the V-Play bar's full, you're ready to spin the wheel for cash prizes. V-Play, only at William Hill Vegas. Bursting with entertainment. For GBP online accounts, use cash balance to play. Chance to spin and win prizes from 30p to £1,000 randomly awarded. Spin and claim within 7 days. T&Cs apply. 18 plus. Gamble aware.
The unstoppable force of live football.
Brilliant goal!
EFL Game Day exclusive on Talksport.
Again, Sato's pass. He gives the ball away, but it comes back to Sato, and he has lashed it into the far corner. It's a bolt from the blue. What a hit that is! And Koki Sato has put Leeds behind. Is their capital punishment going to continue? Where on earth did that come from?
It's a wonderful strike with Brendan Harrison. What are you doing?
Now Smith with the chance to cross. It's a dink delivery. Steve Cook with a header off the post, and Queen's Park Rangers double their lead, and Leeds United are under massive pressure now.
How on earth was Steve Cook pretty much free?
Leeds are falling apart again. Plays it out to Solomon, left hand side. Good ball towards the far post, and it creeps in, and Leeds United are back in this game.
And what a first half that has been at Loftus Road. QPR went 2-0 up, Leeds pulling one back. And at half-time, it's QPR 2, Leeds United 1. Second half to come live on Talksport. Still Chelsea 1, Man City 0 in the Women's League Cup final at Pride Park. Lucy Bronze, seasoned England international, just been booked for diving. Chelsea side are 1-0 up. It's a massive dive as well. I mean, she needs to learn how to dive before trying to dive. Alvin Martin is with me here at Portman Road, former West Ham and England centre-half. Alvin, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. What a lovely day to watch football, eh?
Well, it is, but we're in the shade and it's freezing. This is the only time in my life I want to be in the sun.
Yeah, you've actually got your bobble hat on. I'm glad you have, because I'm sick and tired of people coming up and thinking that you're Ed Sheeran.
I've been given an Ed Sheeran shiny sticker. Have you got one as well?
I have. I'm keeping it. Apparently, they're going to be collectible.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely looking after mine. I won't be putting it on my bedroom wall, let's put it that way. What about this game then? Forest players will be fired up because they haven't been picked for England.
Yeah, no, look, I think it's been a positive season for everyone. I mean, they are the story of the season, aren't they, in terms of surprise packages, eh? But look, you know, the fact that some of these players are getting linked with England is a massive plus for them. Some of them wouldn't have expected that at the start of the season. And you know what? There's a part about playing football, Ed, that is fantastic when you're getting linked with England, because you know you're playing well. Your own crowd loves you. The press is saying, oh, well, wonderful, and you should be in the squad and all that. And then the hard work starts when you do get in the squad and you do play, and they start slaughtering you. So my message to these players is enjoy it. Enjoy the fact that you are being linked and being pushed by the people who are going to be criticising you not too far down the line.
That's a win-win situation from you there. That's exactly how you should look at life. Man City Brighton is live on Talksport 2. It's a huge game. Brighton have never won at Man City, but today could be the day, couldn't it? Because they're banging form.
Yeah, and look, I think this is another example, Ed, of the Premier League, which is, I think, fantastic to watch. You know that whenever you get a game now in the Premier League, it's going to be attack-minded. You know that Brighton aren't going to sit with their 8-9 people behind the ball. They're going to go at Man City, and that's part of Man City's problem. I think what Pep Guardiola was saying this week, we've raised the bar. And what he's saying is, we've raised the bar technically, we've showed you how to do it, and people are replicating it now and saying, you know what, we are going to do what you've done to teams over the years. And they're not having it their own way. They know if they turn the ball over today, Man City, Brighton will commit people forward and they'll look to score goals.
Yeah, they've got people in form as well. David Moyes at Everton, incredible job. 8 unbeaten in the Premier League. They're actually above West Ham on goal difference in the table, his old club, and it's Everton West Ham today. I would suspect David Moyes is really looking forward to this.
Well, again, it's a fantastic story, isn't it? I mean, people have pointed the critical finger at David Moyes over the years for not being attack-minded and whatever. Well, he's gone into Everton, who weren't scoring aid, and he's got them firing. So I mean, what is it? 9 goals in 16 games. They hadn't scored that all season under Sean Dyche. So it shows you that he's gone in there and he's set them up to attack, and it's paying dividends. But what a fantastic job he's done. You've got to give credit to the board as well. They're getting him in. It's a decision to get the right men. He knew exactly what the club was all about. And even some Everton supporters might have gone, do you know what? I'm not sure. Well, they are now, aren't they? It's brilliant.
Absolutely. I mean, the goals thing, man management, coaching, whatever it is, he's done something with Beto, who had 4 in 44, and he's now on 5 in 6. That's incredible, and you have to give the manager credit. Elsewhere, Wolves need a win at Southampton. They come here to Ipswich in a few weeks' time. That promises to be a huge game, unless Wolves keep on winning and extending that gap, which is 6 points at the minute.
Well, they're in a great position, and Wolves have got to have a dive at Ipswich, unless they've got to start winning games. They're running out of games now. But look, Southampton, they've got nothing to lose. Sometimes in that sort of situation, I've been there as well, you tend to relax and think, you know what, may as well just have a go. And players relax and all of a sudden pull a performance out. I remember doing it in a West Ham team against Man United, who were fighting for the title. And Sir Alex called it obscene the way we played that day. It just all clicked into place, and we played with a freedom. That could happen. I'm not saying it will today, but certainly Wolves will feel that they can go. There's no Cunha today, so maybe a bit of a loss, but they need a couple of favours, Ipswich. They need to get the job done here, and they need a couple of teams to trip up Wolves on the way, and it might just open again.
I've been on tour with you. You can do obscene. There's no doubt about that. When you talk about Southampton relaxing, they've still got to get past Derby's 11 points. So I think that might be weighing on the mind. They don't want to be known as the worst ever Premier League team. Quick one on Thomas Tuchel's England squad. What's your thoughts?
I think it's a very common sense squad. I've read some of the articles in the press today, giving their opinion on it, and saying, well, shouldn't he be looking long term? No, you actually look to win the next game as an England manager, because you don't know how long you're going to get. Gareth Southgate had a long run because he did a terrific job, but if you don't do the job well, you're going to get a lot of stick from everywhere. If you don't win games initially, all you're doing is put yourself under pressure. And look, these players will, over a period of time, if they're good enough, find their way into the England squad. What he's doing in my opinion, by bringing some of the older players back in, is addressing some of the weaknesses in the squad. Left back, centre half, right back, and he's got people in to get the job done for now.
Well, he'll be judged on whether we win the World Cup or not. No pressure. Let's get back to Loftus Road Championship. This is huge. What a huge second half coming up. QPR 2, Leeds 1. Here's Scott Minto and Alex Crook.
Thank you very much, Adrian. Confirmation at half-time, by the way, that Leeds goal that's got them back in this game has gone down as a Morgan Fox own goal. We are back off and underway here at Loftus Road, and it's Queen's Park Rangers in their blue and white hoops, white shorts, white socks, attacking from right to left to got us restarted. Leeds United all in yellow. They're now attacking the end of the ground where the 1,700 travelling supporters from Ellen Road are gathered. And Scott Minto, I know you want to praise the assistant referee.
Yeah, I do, because it was a really difficult call, and we were watching 4 or 5 replays and we still weren't quite 100% sure. And Natalie Aspinall, she had to decide there and then. There's no sort of fallback to VAR in the EFL, of course, and where Firpo was, and then where Morgan Fox was, and then where Jayden Bogle was, and then who touched it and who didn't. And I still, we said at the time we felt that Morgan Fox got the last touch. That's a really difficult split-second decision to make, and I thought that was absolutely spot on. Well done, you.
Queen's Park Rangers on the front foot at the start of this second half, leading by 2-1 here on Talksport for Leeds. The opportunity with a victory to go 5 points clear of Sheffield United, who don't play until tomorrow. If they're going to make that happen, they will have to come from behind. But all of the possession since half-time has been with the home side. Interestingly, Scott Minto, Leeds coming into this round of fixtures, 79 points from 39 games, identical to where they were last season in terms of points. They were second, 3 behind Leicester, 1 ahead of Ipswich. They went on to pick up just 11 points from their final 9 matches. They're 2-1 down here, and here's Fry into the penalty area, shoots across the face of goal, and it goes wide and behind for a goal kick. But really, at the start of this second half, the polar opposite of the first. It's Queen's Park Rangers in control.
Absolutely. And one thing Leeds cannot afford to do is to concede. They're not coming back from 3-1 down. I just don't see it. So first of all, they need to keep it tight. They need to wrestle back control and possession, set the tempo in their own way, and then play how they played towards the end of that first half. Yes, they had the possession for pretty much all of it, but they weren't really hurting QPR defensively. Much better in the last 10-15 minutes.
No change in the lineups for this second half. QPR with Nardi in goal, Dunn, Fox, Cook and Powell their back four. Edwards just in front of them behind Anderson and Colback, the two holding midfielders, and then Sato and Smith either side of Fry in attack for Leeds. Meslier the goalkeeper, Bogle, Roden, Stroik and Firpo their back line. Rothwell and Tanaka in front of them, with James on one wing, Solomon the other, and then Aronson in the 10 position behind Joel Perreault in attack. We've played nearly 3 minutes in the second half. It's still QPR 2, Leeds 1, barring that shot across the face of goal from Fry. Much of the play has been in the middle third of the pitch, which is still bathed in glorious sunshine. And here is Sato attacking down the QPR left, maybe with a chance to get a cross in. Plays it short to Anderson instead. And Powell up in attack as Anderson tries to play the ball to the edge of the penalty area. It's been intercepted. And it's going to be a free kick here for Leeds United for a rather robust challenge.
Yeah, I think it was absolutely right with Brendan Aronson coming off and Willie Gnonto.
Yeah, Willie Gnonto, has come on at half-time. I just spotted that, Scott. Wasn't immediately obvious, but Gnonto is on and Aronson off. And that really flies in the face of what we've been saying about Daniel Farke not being willing to take action when needed in terms of using the subs earlier.
Well, we did say that he should, but we also said that he hasn't. Well, I think it was interesting. I was looking to see, would that go just before half-time, would that have made a difference? 2-0 down, you quite simply have to make changes. You have to. 2-1, he could maybe argue, well, OK, we're back in the game, but no, I'm sorry, Brendan Aronson, I don't want to single him out, but obviously made a mistake for the first goal. He wasn't particularly great going forward. You've got great options off the bench, why not use them, and almost immediately.
Here's Bogle down the right hand side, Gnonto making the dart ahead of him, Perreault waiting for the cross inside the area, Dan James and Solomon both loitering on the edge of the box as well. Here's Tanaka out to the left, and James, they've not really been able to get him on the ball enough to this point, but he's got a decent delivery into the area, and it was a really important header away by Edwards. That was a teasing cross that needed dealing with. 2-1 QPR, throw in for Leeds.
And who nearly got on the end of it? 6 yards out, Jayden Bogle, right back. Pushing on, brilliant play left to right, and again, this is what Leeds need to do. QPR need to, if they can, wrestle back a little bit of control of the game, but they were quite happy when Leeds were having the ball, but you do feel with Gnonto on the pitch, they're looking more dangerous already.
Gnonto slides a pass forward into James. Solomon's made a dart to the far post. Solomon with a chance to double, saved by the goalkeeper and turned in by Bogle. And from 2-0 down, Leeds United back on level terms. 1,700 away fans are on their feet in delirium, and Jayden Bogle has levelled it up early in the second half. Well, not renowned for his goal scoring, but how big a moment could that be come the end of the season? QPR 2, Leeds United 2.
Could be massive, could be absolutely massive. A goal before half-time, a goal after half-time, and the game has completely changed. And now Leeds United feel for sure that they can go on and win this game. From QPR's point of view, they've got to say, OK, hold on a minute, we've been 2-0 up, we're playing at home, we've got to be solid again. But from Leeds' point of view, the weight of that shirt has gone from 10 kilos to a feather.
And straight away, as you mentioned it, Scott, we've seen the impact that Willie Gnonto has been able to make off the bench and the build-up to that goal. Solomon probably should have scored. Decent enough save from Nardi, but Bogle on the rebound there just to ram home into the bottom corner.
Yeah, it came from Gnonto, didn't it? Playing in that number 10 position. He just dropped in, turned and played a real defence-splitting pass. And you're right that perhaps Solomon could have and should have scored, and certainly if Bogle wasn't there to follow in, he'd be looking, thinking, oh my goodness, how many chances are we going to get? But I said again just a couple of minutes earlier when the ball was whipped in from the left, it was Bogle who's closest to scoring, and yeah, he doesn't score many, but he's a right back. He still loves to get forwards, and that could be a crucial goal.
I think I'm right in saying it's his first goal of the season, Jodin Bogle. Huge one, 2-2, 6 minutes into the second half. QPR have a throw over on the far side. Smith with the long delivery that's caused problems over the course of the afternoon, and that was a real chance at the near post. Cook denied by Meslier. They can't handle these long balls into the box from the throw-ins, Leeds United.
No, they can't. And I'm just looking to our friend on the left, producer Jeremy, works for Talksport, big Leeds fan. He is looking nervous as anything as those balls go in the box. They just look as if they can't defend it. A simple long throw in there. And you know what? Leeds have got every chance of scoring a third, but QPR have too.
Yeah, what a brilliant advert for the Championship so far. 2-2 on Talksport. Don't forget, coming up later on Talksport 2, live and exclusive Premier League commentary as Brighton go to Manchester City. And there's been another goal in the Women's League Cup final. Jeff Peters.
It's the equaliser. Chelsea 1, Manchester City 1, and what a goal from Alba Fagino. Race forward, kept going, edge of the penalty area and smashed it, beat the keeper at the near post. This is some game. Chelsea 1, Man City 1.
Some game there, some game here at Loftus Road. Leeds 2 down after half an hour. Back to 2-2. That game continues, by the way, on Talksport 2 as Dan James puts a dangerous cross in. Pirro can't quite get there at the near post. And in the end, the ball is out off Solomon for a QPR throw down by the right corner flag. 2-2.
Yeah, now it's the Leeds United faithful who are shouting and screaming, looking around to the three other sides, just sitting there. Can't believe what's happened. Their team has been 2-0 up, pegged back to 2-2. I mean, honestly, Quickie, all options are open here.
They just never seem to do it the easy way, do they, Leeds United? Those long-suffering supporters will testify to that. Here's Rothwell. They are the dominant force in this game now, though. 2-2. Dan James. Neat footwork from him to find space on the edge of the area, looking for Firpo. Pass slightly undercooked rather, and it's cleared away by Dunn and out for a Leeds throw. In a hurry, Tanaka to get the game restarted. They sense the opportunity here to snatch victory, Leeds United, from the jaws of defeat and put the pressure right back on Burnley, who go to Swansea later. Adrian will keep you updated with the goals from there. And Sheffield United live on Talksport 2 tomorrow. Tough game for them. Steel City derby away from home against Danny Roll's Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, do you know what? It could be such a crucial weekend for Leeds if they were to come back from 2-0 down and win 3-2. If Burnley don't get the win, and certainly, as you said, Sheffield derby, so difficult. Could be pivotal.
Perot dropping towards the halfway line, neatly holding the ball up and finding Dan James on this near side. Perot staying out wide, is dispossessed by Anderson on the edge of the QPR area, up to Fry. He in turn finds Sato. He's been fouled by Roden, so QPR have a free kick as Cheltenham go 3-1 up at Swindon in League 2. Will Wright own goal in that game. A West Country derby at the county ground, and QPR here with the free kick, which will be played forward from deep inside their own half, looking for Smith up on the edge of the box. Got a little flick on the header, but into the arms of Meslier, the goalkeeper, and he bowls it out immediately for Firpo. Firpo gobbling up the ground, making his way deep into the QPR half, and then finding James over on that left-hand side. James coming in on his right foot, playing it into the area. Nonto, back heel to Bogle, across the face of goal, and it's scooped over the crossbar by Powell. Nervous piece of defending, is out for a corner. He had to get that right, or we might have been looking at the second own goal of the afternoon.
Let me tell you, I've been in that position several times, and you are thinking, please don't let this go in, but you have to make the clearance, and Powell did just that. With inside his own 6-yard box, and yet found a way to get it up and over the bar. But it's all Leeds United at the moment.
2-2 on Talksport. Here comes the corner. Left-hand side. Rothwell with the delivery. Right-footed in-swinger. Bounces awkwardly inside the box, and it's smuggled behind. It will be another corner, despite the protest from the QPR supporters. Referee Tim Robinson, in fact, has changed his mind. Leeds fans can't quite believe that. He certainly indicated it would be another corner originally, and then after the protest looked at the assistant on this near side and said, you know what, you're right boys, goal kick.
Steve Cook, who actually was the most vociferous out the lot. I suppose you don't argue with him.
Steve Cook heading QPR's second. They were 2-0 up after half an hour. An own goal right at the end of the first half from Morgan Fox got Leeds back in it, and then an equaliser from point blank range from Jayden Bogle 6 minutes after the restart has got us all square here at Loftus Road. We'll be going around the Premier League grounds for the team news ahead of the 3 o'clock kickoff very shortly. A reduced fixture list this weekend, of course, due to the EFL Cup final, live on Talksport tomorrow from Wembley. Liverpool against Newcastle. Can Newcastle in their long trophy drought, or will Arne Slot be picking up his first silverware as Liverpool manager? That should be a fascinating afternoon. You'll hear it live on Talksport as QPR win a free kick a couple of yards inside their own half, just trying to regain a bit of composure, the visitors at the home side, Scott.
Yeah, they haven't got it. And they haven't got it at all. They haven't had it since probably 10 minutes at the end of the first half, and certainly, well, actually they started in the first few minutes pretty well, but it's been all Leeds United since then. The equaliser, and they genuinely believe they can go on and get the winner, but you never know, because Leeds have looked vulnerable defensively.
Free kick played into the Leeds penalty area. Meslier under no pressure at all, able to collect, and immediately tries to set James away on this near side, but he bowls it straight out of touch for a throw. James visible in his frustration at his goalkeeper, needed to get that right, no real excuse for not doing so. It's a throw in for QPR.
But I talked about, didn't I, about how much, despite them conceding the early goal and even going 2-0 down, that there's still time to come back into this game, and they've shown with, real character. Absolutely, the 3 points are still on.
And you mentioned they've had a couple of comeback wins on the road already in recent weeks, Leeds United, so they won't have been panicking even at 2-0 down. Here's Tanaka. Team news from Manchester City live on Talksport 2 very shortly. But Tanaka is looking to find Nonto on the edge of the area. The Italian coming infield and plays it a few yards backwards to Rothwell. QPR with numbers back behind the ball, and Rothwell just runs into a bit of trouble, but again QPR don't keep it for very long. It's cleared to this right touchline for a throw. Let's get team news from the Etihad. Ian Danta.
4 changes for Manchester City from the defeat to Forest. One of them comes in goal, where Ortega is preferred to Edison. Also Lewis, Gundogan and Marmoush return as Nunez, Silva and Foden drop to the bench. Just one change for Brighton from the win over Fulham. That sees Gomez coming into midfield in place of Ayari, who drops to the substitutes bench. Live on Talksport 2 at 3 o'clock, it's Manchester City against Brighton and Hove Albion.
Free kick here for Leeds United. Dan James has just been bundled off his feet by Powell, and it's a few yards in from the right touchline, not too far shy of the penalty area, so a good delivery here would ask serious questions of the QPR defence. 2-2 on Talksport as we reach the hour mark. Kenneth Powell has been shown a yellow card as well for that agricultural challenge, shall we say, on James, and it will be Joe Rothwell to deliver from the right hand side. Leeds looking to get themselves in front for the first time on the afternoon, having come back from 2 down. Rothwell stands over the ball, waves his left arm in the air, the white-booted Bournemouth loanee, and that's a dangerous one towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and headed back towards his own goal mouth by Fry, and a good take from the goalkeeper Nardi, and what could have been a promising opportunity for Leeds in the end come to nothing. Let's head to Portman Road. Nottingham Forest are visitors this afternoon. Morgan Gibbs-White left out the England squad. I take it he's in the Forest team, Mike Saul.
He certainly is. He captains Nottingham Forest, who are unchanged from that 1-0 win over Manchester City. The only change across both teams comes from Ipswich, where Jack Clark drops to the bench to be replaced by Amari Hutchinson.
And we've got the David Moyes derby at Goodison Park. Matt Jones.
Yeah, just the one change for Everton from the draw with Wolves, as Alvarez is restored to the starting lineup, replacing Jesper Lindstrom, who's among the subs. As for West Ham, they lost to Newcastle last time out. Cresswell, Scars and Alvarez are out. Mavropanos, Paqueta and Emerson come in. It's Everton against West Ham.
Dan James just stopped in his tracks here on the edge of the penalty area by Powell. That's going to be an interesting dilemma for the fullback Scott Minto. He's just been shown a yellow card, and Dan James is not the type of player you want to face for the last half an hour when you're treading that tightrope of maybe getting a second booking and being sent off.
Right, so if I'm Powell, I'm saying help. The moment, each time that Dan James gets the ball, I need someone to help me make that a 2-on-1. But if I'm actually, Jayden Bogle, I'm giving him the ball as much as possible, and then I'm letting him go. I'm not trying to bomb on. I'm trying to create space so he can have that one-on-one situation.
You're saying he needs a pen pal? Some friends.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Long ball upfield by Meslier. 2-2 on Talksport. The ball is out of play for the throw on the halfway line. So let's get team news from the last of our 3 o'clock Premier League games. Southampton bidding to avoid becoming officially the worst team in Premier League history. They're at home to Wolves. James Fielden.
And they are. They make 3 changes today as well. There's no Jan Bednarek because of the concussion protocol. Will Smallbone out injured as well. Armo Belkotchop comes in for his second start this season. Yukinari Sugawara also in. While further forward, Joe Rebo starts in place of Albert Grombach. They don't start with a recognised striker. Wolves unchanged. We'll be hopeful of getting the points here. 3 o'clock start for Southampton Wolves.
And Adrian Durham will be keeping you up to date with all the goals as they go in from the Premier League and the EFL and beyond from 3 o'clock this afternoon. He's live at Portman Road to see if Morgan Gibbs-White and the like can send a message to Thomas Tuchel after their England snub. Both of Tuchel's first 2 games in charge, those World Cup qualifiers, will be live on Talksport next Friday and Monday. The last international break of the season upon us. Will Leeds be going into it with a 5-point lead? 2-2 here. Remember, a victory will open up that gap to Sheffield United, who don't play until tomorrow. They've got a throw-in Leeds over on the far side. They're left, and it will be Junior Firpo to take it down by the corner flag. Those away fans on their feet in the top tier away to our right certainly sense that the opportunity is here to go on and win the game for Leeds, having fought back from 2 down. Here's Solomon into the penalty area. Little back heel from Joel Perreault. I think there was an offside there against Firpo, and it will be a free kick and a chance for Queen's Park Rangers to relieve some pressure.
Yeah, he was offside there for sure. Again, another good decision, this time by the other assistant referee, Mark Scholes. And it just goes to show how Leeds love getting their full-backs forward, and it's not just one goes forward and the other tucks round. At times both go forward, and said about how just before the goal, the equaliser, Jayden Bogle, came close to making it 2-2 and just couldn't quite get on the end of that cross, but then he did make it 2-2 again in that 6-yard box, and this time it's Firpo, the other full-back, getting in that position. So hard to defend against for sure.
It is a gorgeous day, isn't it, in London? Blue skies overhead, certainly a lot warmer than it was. I woke up this morning, perfect conditions, the pitch looking lush and green as Willie Gnonto picks it up on the edge of the centre circle. Good ball out to the right, and Bogle, score of the Leeds equaliser early in this second half. 2-2 the score. James picks it up and immediately runs at Powell, who knows he can't dive in, having been booked. I think James was acutely aware of that, hoping to draw the foul and maybe a second yellow, but he's got it now. James on the right touchline. He gets away from Sato, and then Colback just blocks James' route to goal, and just clipped him there. Dan James, free kick well won, I think, by Jack Colback, using all of his years of experience.
Absolutely, and that's what I said when Powell needs help, and Colback gave him that right place, right time. But at least Dan James is getting more involved now. He was very frustrated in the first half, sometimes not really seeing him for long periods, and when he did get the ball he was almost trying too hard because he hadn't seen much of the ball. Now he's looking much more dangerous.
Leeds won the reverse meeting between these two by 2-0 earlier in the season. Haven't done a double over Queen's Park Rangers since 2018. As we go back to Pride Park for another goal in the Women's League Cup final. Jeff Peters.
Chelsea now 2-1 up against Manchester City. They've retaken the lead. Ramirez, who scored the opener with the cross from the right-hand side. Hasegawa, I think it was, tried to clear it, and she's turned the ball into her own net. 13 to play. Chelsea 2, Man City 1.
And Swindon have got a goal back in League 2 in that West Country derby. Swindon 2, Cheltenham 3. 2-2 here between Queen's Park Rangers and Leeds United, the leaders of the Championship. QPR with a throw halfway inside the Leeds half. It will be taken by Kenneth Powell, and he looks to play it down the left touchline. I think he was aiming for Smith, but Smith out-muscled by a combination of Struijk and Rode in the two centre halves. The ball tamely behind for a goal kick for Leeds.
I'm just thinking, with the sun shining the way it is, whoever wins this game, if you're a fan of that team, it's beer garden weather, isn't it?
Absolutely. And it's always a brilliant position to be in, particularly if you're Leeds going for promotion. If you can get that win, especially from 2-0 down, you can just sit back, can't you, and sink a couple of beers and hope that Burnley and Sheffield United slip up, and well, that makes your challenge that much more straightforward in terms of getting back to the Premier League.
I'm sure I've just seen by your feet that the half and half scarf, so whoever gets all 3 points, you're going to join the fans for a couple of beers, aren't you?
Don't think I'll be doing that after the exertions of Cheltenham week. Ball is out of play for a throw-in for QPR inside their own half. They just seem to have weathered the storm that Leeds United were trying to whip up after that equalising goal.
Yeah, it's well done actually from QPR, because they were very much on the back foot when that equaliser came in, and Leeds looked so dangerous. And look, there's still plenty of time for Leeds to go on and get the winner, but the important thing from QPR's point of view, if they are to go and get all 3 points, is stop this sort of momentum that Leeds had, and they've done that at the moment. Now can they start to create chances themselves? They haven't really done that since that initial good start to the second half. But no, I say, it's 50-50 at the moment.
Yeah, it feels like a huge last quarter of the game. 2-2 the score for those of you just tuning in. QPR 2-0 up after half an hour. Brilliant finish into the far corner from Sato, and then a header in off the inside of the post from Steve Cook. An own goal from Morgan Fox right on half-time offered Leeds a route to salvation, and then 6 minutes after the restart, Jayden Bogle, with his first goal of the season, got the visitors back on terms. They haven't created too many chances since that equalising goal, though, Leeds, and that'll be the frustration for Daniel Farke as Rothwell gives it away midway inside his own half to the tall figure of Fry. He's got Powell on the overlap. Rothwell comes across and concedes a throw. Looked like it might have been more dangerous at one point, with a couple of players ahead of Fry.
Just gave the ball away there, didn't he, when he didn't need to, playing it sideways instead of looking forwards. With a chance, because there was quite a few QPR players who had gone forward themselves, and now they put themselves on the back foot, Leeds.
It's almost a free hit, isn't it, for QPR? Not just because Leeds are top, but because I mentioned they're well clear, really, of relegation danger. They're not going to make the playoffs, so gives them the opportunity to express themselves and maybe take one or two more risks as the ball is hoisted in from the throw, nodded down by Powell. Fry trying to bring it under his spell. It was good defending by Struijk just to usher the ball back to his goalkeeper Melian. I think the referee given a foul anyway. You are listening to QPR Leeds in the EFL Championship, live on Talksport with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the app and get reward points. 18 plus participating restaurants, delivery fees and terms apply. See mcdonalds.com. Here's Willie Gnonto for Leeds, 15 yards outside the QPR penalty area. Leeds attacking the goal away to our right. And now Dan James hugging this near touchline. Plays it forward to Solomon. And Colback comes across and concedes a throw. 2-2 it remains. The throw in to be launched long, it looks like, by Bogle, scorer of the Leeds equaliser, who's just wiping the ball on his yellow jersey. There aren't too many players inside the box, so it's short in the end to Gnonto, the pint-sized Italian. And now Rothwell collects, and his pass forward is charged down by the hard-working Fry. Leeds are going to build again with Tanaka, and this is Gnonto on this near side. Bit of space for Solomon if he wanted to switch the play. Instead he just opts to play it back to the halfway line, where Joe Rodon, the former Tottenham man, will take over. Gnonto trying to help it on towards Dan James, closed down by Powell, and QPR maybe could counter there if the ball had found Fry. They might have been on 3-on-3, but it's Leeds instead who will come forward. Perot being urged to shoot from the edge of the area, rolls it out to his left, and Solomon instead back to Perot. Maybe just one pass too many there from Leeds United, and Colback will get it clear, and now QPR could counter. Oh, Smith has just been body checked by Struijk. That was cynical after Smith had knocked the ball away from the Leeds captain, and he is shown a yellow card, Pascal Struijk.
It's one of those where it's like, okay, you may get the ball past me, but you ain't getting past me. It was almost like a rugby tackle, bringing him down. I'm not quite sure he really needed to do it, but he didn't even look at the referee, just jogged straight back. Yeah, I know the card's coming out, rightly so. And that's where Crookie, that's where QPR can be dangerous. Leeds on the front foot and then the counter-attack. But not shown enough so far in the second half.
Adrian Darren will be happy. Peterborough have taken the lead in the big derby game in League One. Cambridge 0, Peterborough 1.
They lead it, didn't they?
It certainly did. It's been a season to forget so far. Steve Cook is down and in need of some treatment, an opportunity for Daniel Farker, the Leeds manager, and his opposite number, Martin Cifuentes, to beckon one or two players over for some instructions as we move into the last 18 minutes here. The score locked at 2-2 on Talksport. What will the tone be, do you think, Scott Minto, from the two managers as Cook continues to receive treatment?
Well, I think the much more positive one will come from Daniel Farker in terms of, look, we really could do with this. We've got to make sure, obviously, we're not open at the back, but you know, these last 18 minutes plus injury time could be absolutely crucial in terms of how this season ends up, because the momentum you can get after winning midweek, and then if they were to come back from 2-0 down and get all 3 points, and if Burnley do drop points, and certainly there's every chance that Sheffield United can up against Wednesday tomorrow, suddenly you look at the table and it's just amazing how much relief you feel, and then the pressure just goes away, and then you can go into the next game, which obviously is not until a couple of weeks away. You go into that break with a lot more fun, sleep well, eat well, and you crack on for the rest of the season.
It's Bolton 0, Stockport 1 in the derby in League One, and Crewe are level against Doncaster now, 1-1 in that game. Looks like Steve Cook may have to be replaced here, which is not ideal as far as Queen's Park Rangers are concerned. Karamoko Dembele is coming on for Smith. That's the first change. That looks like a tactical decision, but Steve Cook forced off with injury, so Liam Morrison is going to replace the QPR captain for the final 16 minutes plus added time. Scott Minto.
Yeah, to be fair, there must be something wrong with Steve Cook if he's going off. He certainly wouldn't want that to happen. He's one of the leaders in the QPR team, not just defence. But yeah, Dembele, okay, go on. What can you do? It's what you want from your subs. Try and make an impact. You know, I say all three options are open, but if there is to be a goal, you still would fancy it to come from Leeds. But if Dembele can produce something, then he can certainly send his fans home very, very happy indeed.
Free kick is played forward by the QPR goalkeeper, Nardi, but cleared to the halfway line. Powell in a race for pace against Dan James, and he gets there first, the Rangers full-back. We've got a big day on Talksport tomorrow, the warm-up live from Wembley Box Park, building up to the Carabao Cup final live on Talksport at 4:30. Darren Bent and Lee Clark, the Newcastle legend, amongst our commentary team. Coming up later on Talksport 2, Manchester City against Brighton. You won't find that anywhere else on national radio. Brighton looking for their first ever Premier League win at the Etihad, having already beaten Manchester City at home this season. Manor Solomon working back there and winning possession from Dunn. Leeds fans wanted a free kick. Referee had a good view of the incident, said no. Pass forward by Anderson, looking for Fry. Stroik under pressure, finding only Dembele, but mopped up in the end by Roden. And back to the halfway line, 2-2 here on Talksport on this huge day for Leeds United. The chance to go 5 clear at the top is a chance at the moment they're not going to take, but they were 2-0 down after half an hour. I think at that stage maybe most of those travelling Leeds fans would have taken a point. Maybe we'll be disappointed their team haven't been able to kick on since scoring those 2 goals either side of half-time. Dembele upended by Stroik, and he's got to be careful, having already been booked, the Leeds captain.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it wasn't worthy of a booking in itself, but another one.
The yellow card has been shown, I think, for dissent now. I'm not particularly sure which Leeds player got it, but it's going to be a free kick for QPR, with 15 minutes for one of these two to find a winning goal. And we've seen already over the course of the afternoon that Leeds have had trouble defending the free kicks, the corners, particularly the long throws that QPR have thrown at them. And it will be Lucas Anderson, the Dane, with that long brown hair, who is going to play this ball into the penalty box away to our left. And everybody bar Jack Colback, from a QPR perspective, is up in and around the area, but Leeds have dealt with that comfortably, and they can counter here. Dan James dabbing it forward to Nonto. James has continued his run. Can he get there? The wrong side of Colback. That's a brilliant tackle. Superb tackle from Colback, because if he mistimed it, potentially it could have been a red card. It's gone out for a corner.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's just underplayed from Nonto there. And with the pace that Dan James has got, you can afford to just overhit it a little bit rather than underhit it. Colback was absolutely delighted it was underhit. Last ditch challenge where he caught James, but it was definitely a good tackle, a really important one.
Yeah, he was absolutely flat to the boards, to use a horse racing terminology, at the end of the Cheltenham Festival.
You can take the lad out of Cheltenham.
Well, this would be another upset. It's been a week of upsets there. If QPR were to take something from the game, Rothwell with a corner for Leeds. It's a flying header away by Powell, and then launch forward into the Leeds half by Sato, score of the first QPR goal. 2-2 at Loftus Road. You just sense there will be one final sting in this towel. You can't say with any certainty which side will provide that sting. Here's Bogle, his equaliser. At least at the moment he's going to get Leeds a point from a game where they were almost down and out after half an hour. Here's Rothwell. Forward he goes to Nonto. Bogle's in acres of space to his right, and a chance to cross here. Bogle towards the far post. And Dunn wasn't overconfident with the clearance, but he got enough on it. Here's Nonto trying to slide it through for Bogle again, who'd stay forward. Powell's clearance hits Nonto, and Bogle with a chance to cross again, and nodded away this time by Edwards, almost on the floor, as Colback then hoists it into the top tier of the main stand where we're situated, and out for another Leeds United throw. They're just trying to crank it up again here, the Championship leaders at 2-2.
Do you know what? I'm not over-exaggerating it. That was a David Beckham-like cross from Jayden Bogle there. It was absolutely brilliant. Jimmy Dunn didn't know what to do with it. It kind of came off his back heel and went back towards the goal. And if it had been a Leeds United player there, it would have been a simple pass into the back of the net. It's a wonderful ball in, it really was, and that's what Leeds need to do a little bit more. Get the ball wide, get the ball in the box, and then follow it in. Try and win those knockdowns.
11 nervous minutes to go for those travelling Leeds fans. QPR 2, Leeds 2. They've drawn 11 games this season, Queen's Park Rangers. So I guess we shouldn't be that surprised that we're in a stalemate situation late on. But a winning goal for Leeds now could make all the difference come the end of the season in this fascinating battle for promotion to the Premier League. And actually, we've been talking about the fact they don't play any of the top 7 between now and the end of the season. Some Leeds fans are worried about that because they feel that actually Leeds produce their better football against the top sides. Here's Bogle trying to squeeze the ball forward to Perot. It's cleared away and out for a throw.
Leeds fans would worry about whoever they played between now and the end of the season, because Leeds United fans know what Leeds United can do.
Yeah, those nightmare memories of last season no doubt coming flooding back. Here's Manus Solomon. Nonto's gone down midway inside the QPR half, but his Leeds teammates aren't feeling like putting the ball out of play. It was Rothwell trying to find Firpo, who made a good dart forward, but QPR win it back, and Anderson aiming to release Sato. It was well defended by Bogle. He's then been pushed over by Sato, and it'll be a free kick for Leeds on the edge of the centre circle inside their own half. 2-2 it remains.
Brilliant from Bogle. Brilliant. We talked about him going forward, nearly scoring, then whipping balls in, but defensively as well, he got back really well. Very good defending.
Here's Manor Solomon for Leeds, over on the far side. Again, he's got Firpo up in support, finds his marauding left back. Nonto at the near post. Oh, he didn't get enough connection. Just tried to help it towards the far corner. And Queen's Park Rangers clear over on the far side for a Leeds throw. If he hit it cleanly, it could easily have found the back of the net, or at least found Dan James, who was arriving to try and tap it in.
Yeah, but Dan James has got to gamble even a little bit more as he sees it building up down the left. He's got to think, well, what if it comes to the far post? Powell did just that. Dan James didn't. And that's why the ball's not in the back of the net, but it was a good clearance from the left back.
Here is James, coming in from the left-hand side on his right foot. Finds himself in a heap on the edge of the area, tries to challenge Fry on his backside. Didn't win the ball, but Leeds have it back with Rothwell. He was having his shirt pulled by Fry. That's going to be a free kick, and then Fry almost colliding with the referee, who's going to get a yellow card for the shirt pull. Into stoppage time over on Talksport 2. Chelsea still leading Manchester City by 2-1 in the Women's League Cup final.
I know you've been doing dancing on ice, but that was almost like dancing on grass there, wasn't it, between the two of them? Little pirouettes as Frey was holding on to him and Rothwell desperate to get away.
I like him, Fry. He's old school, isn't he? He's a big, bustling centre forward. and he's going to get in the face of defenders.
Yeah, look, he's not going to score you 20-odd goals or sort of take you up. He's not that type of quality striker, but in terms of the Championship, absolutely he can do a job. And QPR, what are a mid-table Championship side right now, for sure.
I wonder if this is a time-wasting tactic from QPR. Lucas Anderson is down with what looks like cramp. We've got 7 minutes to go here. It's still QPR 2, Leeds 2, but it's all over in the Women's League Cup final. Jeff Peters.
Chelsea have beaten Manchester City 2-1 to win the first piece of silverware this season. Yui Hasegawa's unfortunate own goal, 13 from time, decided this fabulous contest after Alba Ficino's thunderbolt had cancelled out Mayra Ramirez's early strike. Chelsea 2, Man City 1.
Congratulations to Chelsea. A reminder, Liverpool against Newcastle in the Carabao Cup final, live on Talksport tomorrow, 4:30 kick-off. All the build-up from Wembley Box Park from midday. Adi Oladipo, big Liverpool fan, your host for that one. As Lucas Anderson trots across to the near touchline, so maybe I was doing him a disservice. It looks like he has picked up a knock, and QPR are going to make another injury-enforced change, having already lost their captain Steve Cook. And coming on to replace the stricken Anderson is Nicholas Madsen. So one Dane replaces another for Queen's Park Rangers.
Now, QPR have done well, haven't they, since that equaliser came in and Leeds looked like they would go on and get the third goal. And we've got, 6.5 minutes plus injury time now.
There's going to be a change for Leeds as well. Lagi Ramazani is coming on. And Manor Solomon makes way. I think he's been industrious, Solomon. Obviously played a big part in the goal at the end of the first half, which got Leeds back in it. Let's see what Ramazani can do for the final exchanges. Good cross in from James, looking for Perot. But QPR with enough blue and white shirts back to deal with that. You sense, Scott, it might be one-way traffic for these final 6 minutes as Leeds look for the winner.
Absolutely, it's all Leeds right now.
James into Tanaka, decent balls just over the head of Perot. A bit unlucky there, and Joseph can't keep it in play. So it's going to be a goal kick for QPR that they won't be in a hurry to take. Oldham have equalised against Rochdale in the National League, 1-1 in that game.
No, do you know what? It's a decent ball in from Tanaka. Yes, it's a little bit overplayed, but again, you can't get their heads down. It's exactly the right idea. Maybe just not quite the right execution. They just need that one chance, and if you put the ball in the box enough times, not just long balls in, but you create the chance, get a space, get yourself into the right position, then whip a good ball in with quality, there's every chance that Leeds could get the winner.
Ramazani, former Manchester United youngster, Belgium, he's got 5 goals this season. Can he come up with a late winner here? Leeds 2 down after half an hour, back on terms, but it's QPR coming forward. Dembele, edge of the penalty area, good strength from him as he was closed down by a couple of Leeds defenders, and he's just going to make sure that ball goes out for a throw-in down by the right corner flag. QPR still dangerous on the counter.
Yes, they are, and Dembele looks dangerous whenever he gets on the ball. There's good play down the right-hand side. And I just wonder, QPR been on the back foot almost the whole of the second half. But can they go down the other end? We're talking about, can Leeds come back and get that third goal? Can QPR somehow nick the winner?
I think it's Ronnie Edwards who's going to hoist in this throw-in. Steve Cook close to scoring from the last throw they had in a similar position. He's no longer on the pitch, but they've still got plenty of height of Queen's Park Rangers, and that was a brilliant block tackle by Stroik. I think it was Jimmy Dunn trying to turn it in from the edge of the 6-yard box, and Stroik to the rescue. Corner for QPR, 2-2 on Talksport.
Sorry, great tackle, really great tackle. There's every chance if Jimmy Dunn had got that shot off that Meslier would have had no chance whatsoever.
And again, the nerves are jangling in that away end. Corner for QPR over on the far side. A goal here, and surely it would mean defeat for Leeds. The ball swung in by Dembele right underneath the crossbar, punched away by Meslier. Back to the corner taker, Dembele. He's got magical feet, isn't he? A real box of tricks, the Rangers substitute. But his ball is intercepted by Nonto, and he's looking to immediately release Ramazani, but well played by Sato. Got there first and plays it back to the goalkeeper Nardi, who in turn plays it long upfield, and that was a bit of an anxious header by Firpo, but Meslier had a good starting position and able to clear it away. 87 on the clock now. QPR 2, Leeds 2 on Talksport. Swindon have equalised from 3-1 down against Cheltenham. 3-3 now in League 2. They're in the closing stages there, and we are in for an enthralling finish here. Not too many are leaving Loftus Road early this afternoon, trying to beat the matchday traffic, making their way home. Come on, you R's is the cry. QPR certainly have kept Leeds honest this afternoon, more than that. Here's Ramazani down the left-hand side. Opportunity across. Pirot's made a good run to the near post, but it's cleared away. Only to the edge of the penalty area, and a shot from the edge of the box has gone thundering in, and it's blocked. It was Tanaka. Maybe should have looked to a play and a teammate rather than go for glory, Scott Minto.
Yeah, well, I think Liam Morrison's done almost a double clearance there. First of all, he's got himself in the right place, right time, and then he's gone straight out and made sure that Tanaka's got no chance on getting any time to get a shot off right in front of goal, 20 yards out. And as we get closer and closer towards the 90-minute mark, you get the feeling, one more chance. Who can create it, and then can you finish it?
Well, it'll be fascinating to see how many added minutes there will be. It's 2-2 here at Loftus Road. Live Championship football with no 12:30 Premier League game. We've got Man City at home to Brighton, live on Talksport 2 coming up at 3 o'clock. Adrian Durham at the same time will be taking you around the grounds with all the goals as they go in. The indication is there might be as many as 6 added minutes at the end of the 90, so still plenty of time for one of these two to find the winner. It's a free kick for QPR just inside the Leeds half. The goalkeeper Nardi has come a long way. Looks like he was going to take it. He's left it for Powell in the end, and Powell with the left-footed delivery from the right will just try and hoist this towards the edge of the 18-yard box away to our left. Again, a cluster of blue and white hoop jerseys lined up on the edge of the Leeds box. Dunn trying to nod it down, bit overzealous with a challenge on Rothwell. It's going to be a free kick for Leeds. It was Roden actually who felt the force of that aerial assault from Jimmy Dunn. Certainly not afraid to mix it physically, Queen's Park Rangers. And the ball is at the feet of Meslier, the Leeds goalkeeper. 2-2 the score. He's looking to use the pace of Ramazani down that left-hand side. Dunn is cute, just shields the pint-sized Leeds man off the ball, and now they're able to bring it clear, and Nonto has been penalised for a foul, so a free kick for QPR in their right-back position.
I'm not sure that was a foul, but I understand Meslier wanting to get the ball down the other end as quickly as possible, but there's no point in just knocking it long, and you know they're big, this back four of QPR, and they just picked it up and mopped it up pretty easily, and fair play to QPR, they have stemmed the tide. You know, Leeds haven't really created too many chances in the last 10 or so minutes, have they?
No, I think we all thought when they got that equalising goal early in the second half that it would almost be a bombardment on the goal away to our right. Hasn't really worked out that way. Confirmation we are going to play 6 added minutes here on Talksport. QPR 2, Leeds 2. Chelsea have won the Women's League Cup over on Talksport 2. Are we going to get a late winner here? Leeds, as it stands, will be going 3 points clear of Sheffield United. Sheffield United will play Wednesday in the Steel City Derby tomorrow. Burnley with a chance to close the gap when they go to Swansea this afternoon. As I've said already, at 2-0 down after half an hour, I think most Leeds fans would have settled for a draw.
For sure. And yet now it's almost, if it ends up 2-2, it'd be like, we had time to go and get the winner. Why couldn't we?
Well, it's a great result for the neutral, isn't it? It just keeps it bubbling nicely in that three-way fight for promotion. Not sure Leeds fans listening will agree with that sentiment, but...
Well, you're right, though, for the neutral. Quite clearly Leeds fans are not neutral.
And we'll just keep them a little bit more anxious heading into this 2-week international break that we have. It's a goal kick for Leeds, which Meslier will take. I think credit has to go to QPR that Leeds aren't quite throwing the kitchen sink at them, because they know that if they do that, they might risk being exposed at the other end. Here's Fry on the halfway line. Still 2-2. And we've already played 2 added minutes. It's going to be a free kick for a foul on Colback this time. And I think Leeds are frustrated. Nonto just shaking his head because these little niggly fouls are building up, and it's just taking away any real momentum that they could build. Millwall have taken the lead late on against Stoke City, 1-0 in that game. Stoke still deep in the relegation mire down at the bottom of the table under Mark Robbins.
Yeah, QPR need to be a little bit more disciplined. I know Nonto was frustrated with the free kick, but he was late. It was a free kick. There's no point in giving it away, and you're right, credit does need to go to QPR. What they have done really well is actually, when Mellier's had the ball, they've looked as if they wanted to press. Mellier's knocked it long, and nothing's really happened off the back of that. They're happy that the QPR defence, that to be the ball knocked long all the time.
That's a poor tackle from Sato on Dan James. It was a free kick initially that Powell played in, and it's a straight red card for the scorer of the opening Queen's Park Rangers goal. Dan James looking to come forward on the counter, having intercepted the free kick, and he's caught him from behind, Sato, and I think he caught him on the Achilles, and that is why referee Tim Robinson has decided to send off one of Queen's Park Rangers goal scorers. That's not a great tackle, Scott.
No, that's naughty. That's naughty. He's gone past him, and it's one thing to try and sort of lunge for the ball, but he was nowhere near the ball. He's actually, I have to say, the officials have been excellent today. We've talked about both referees' assistants, but the referee himself, Tim Robinson, that's a really good decision. Again, there's no VAR. You've got to make an instant decision, but that was a really bad one going down the Achilles of Dan James.
And in fairness to Dan James, he got straight back on his feet. It wasn't like he was trying to get Sato sent off. The referee had already seen enough to decide, actually, that is a straight red card. And I think when we've seen it again, we've had the benefit of a replay. I think he's absolutely spot on. So QPR down to 10 men, and still at least 2 added minutes for Leeds to try and capitalise on that with a winning goal. We've certainly had it all this afternoon, haven't we? What a game this has been.
We have. The only thing that's lacking is a winner from either side. But you know, looking at it's 11v10 now, and the ball's bouncing around, and Leeds just trying to hook it on, and they're hooking it out of play. And we know now, even more than ever, QPR are just going to try and take their time. So got to try and get the ball down, try and pass it. Yes, look forward, but not just knock it long just for the sake of it.
They were ready to make another change, Queen's Park Rangers. Daniel Benny was about to come on before Sato was sent off, but looks like he has put the tracksuit top back on as the 10 men try and hold out for this point. 2-2 the score, and the ball is in the possession of Leeds United. Rothwell forward to Tanaka. Firpo looking for Ramazani down the left. Can he get across in here? Blocked, but it will be a corner in the 95th minute at Loftus Road.
Much better for Meslier there. And instead of just knocking it long and almost 50-50, or not even 50-50, he passed the ball out. 2-3 passes, suddenly they're into the final third, and now they've got a corner. Can they deliver with quality?
Well, it feels like it's now or never for Leeds United. 2-0 down after half an hour, back to 2-2 early in the second half. Can they come up with a winner? Rothwell with a corner, needs a good delivery from the far side. The referee is just going to delay it being taken, just to add to the drama on Talksport. A goal here for Leeds would make the world of difference in terms of their aspirations of getting back to the Premier League automatically. Rothwell to deliver towards Roden, headed away by Powell. We've almost played the 6 added minutes. Ramazani has given the ball away on halfway, and QPR are coming forward. Well, what a story this would be if the 10 men could come up with a winning goal. Fry brings it down on the edge of the area, out to Dunn, bombing on from right back. Dunn into the box, he's still going. Dunn tries to cut the cross back, might come for Fry with a header, and Ramazani hooks it away. The flag goes up, offside, free kick for Leeds. Well, that would have been unexpected.
Oh, what? I'll tell you what a goal that would have been as well. A brilliant counter-attack, some fantastic skill, and from some people you don't necessarily expect it. Talked about a little pirouette. Well, Jimmy Dunn did that in the box and left 2 Leeds defenders in his wake, and what a goal that would have been. But no, it does look like we really are, it's now or never.
Well, we're now into the 7th added minute, And there will be no more time. The referee calls a halt to what's been a pulsating championship game. Leeds United ultimately missing out on the chance to open up a 5-point lead at the top, but well, after half an hour, when they were 2-0 down, goals from Sato, a brilliant finish into the far corner, and Steve Cook with a header, I think those travelling Leeds fans would have settled for a point. Morgan Fox with the unfortunate own goal 5 minutes before the end of the first half offered the visitors hope, and Jayden Bogle equalised 6 minutes after the restart with his first goal of the season. You expected then that maybe Leeds United would go on and complete the comeback victory. They couldn't, and even after Sato, the goal scorer, went from hero to villain when he was shown a straight red card in stoppage time, QPR held firm. It keeps it fascinatingly poised at the top of the table. Full time here, QPR 2, Leeds United 2.
Well, I'm still chuckling to myself because Koki Sato, the shock on his face when he saw the red card, one of the most obvious red cards you'll ever see. He couldn't believe he was being sent off. I think we all could believe he was being sent off. But a draw it is. Leeds go 3 points clear at the top of the table. 3 points clear of Sheffield United, who play Wednesday in the derby tomorrow, which is live on Talksport 2 at lunchtime. And Leeds 5 points clear of Burnley, who are at Swansea this afternoon.